All right, welcome to the Jungle, the podcast for the SEC champions, the sole SEC champions. We're peacocking out here. We're live at Toomer's Corner. Usually, I'm a podcast guy. Yeah, we got the T-shirt that we like to do the audio. The YouTube's kind of secondary, but if you haven't been on YouTube, this might be a good time to get on YouTube because if you see behind us, we're at Toomer's Corner with the trees rolled. I got toilet paper around me. I got a peacock sign. They gave peacock signs during the thing. Man, Matt, we're here. We're champions.
We did it. Man, the whole year built to this. Auburn never trailed in the SEC standings all year. And to finish it off and not have to share it with anybody, it was a great day in Auburn. We've had a great time just walking on campus and seeing Auburn Arena, Neville Arena.
Neville, yeah.
And
the Neville's cut down the net and everything. They are ingrained. Their $20 million is ingrained them in the Auburn atmosphere here. Yeah.
No, it's been great, man. It's been an awesome game that I'm excited to talk about, and we'll see how this live take on campus goes.
Someone asked me while we were here, a good friend of mine, Ryan Norman, hopefully he'll stop by. Maybe we'll see him some other time on the podcast. I don't know. But he asked, when's the last time you've been to a home game? I went to the Final Four a couple years back, and it's just tough flying down to New York. It costs much money. You got to come down or whatever. So I came down for this very momentous game, thanks to my boy Matt here, my co-host. We had to see it live, But I realized the last game I had seen was the first year of Bruce Pearl at Mississippi State versus Simeon Bowers playing. What a difference in atmosphere. People are having a great time out here. Man, it was just so cool to see this season get cemented into history. Screw Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama, all these people are picked above us. Screw the people that thought today maybe we would lose and they could take a piece of our championship. It's our championship. We peacocking.
It was great, man. I think this was the kind of momentum boost Auburn needed. You finish off an undefeated season at home, right? I believe all those wins were by 9 or more points. Never really got challenged at home. So it was a great way to cap it off. Obviously great for us. This is only my second game of the year in person. Jackson's first. So we're pumped, man. We've had like an hour to decompress after the celebration, the cutting nets, walking back to downtown, getting the computer set up and everything. I think we're ready to talk about a great game.
We didn't even really this game was not about this game. Right. It was ultimately about sealing a ring, sealing a banner, an SEC championship, only the fourth time in history. We talked about it last game where we got a piece of it. We knew we had a piece of it. This sealed the deal. Yeah. We didn't even say the name of the team we were playing or the score. We won by 11 points against South Carolina, a team that used to have Bruce Pearl's number. Frank Martin used to have his number. Kermit Davis almost used to have Bruce's number. There's not a lot of teams love to have their number. And in fact, it was like a number because it was like a weird thing for them to have that. Now, like you could say maybe Calipari or somebody like that, but like that's just being a great college basketball program. It's like gotten to a point where we don't ever even really lose to these like other teams consistently. The only team we lose to are to teams that are like the rest of the national basketball people understand are great teams.
Yeah, you think about it. We swept Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss are our three main rivals. We played twice. We played South Carolina twice this year, swept them. We split with Florida barely. Just a lot of wins, 15-3, ahead of everybody else. And really, everybody's been gnashing of teeth about the road record. The only reason Auburn won the conference championship was because we had a better record on the road than everybody else.
We ended up 27-4 on the season for the regular season. It's huge. 2 of those is an overtime. It's just weird because the 3 of them were so recently that people are getting a little weird about stuff. It was huge. Like you said, another seal we did. We sealed that undefeated at home. Yeah. Neville Arena has never seen a loss this year. Won't see a loss this year. It's a big deal. We were being so funny about the undefeated regulation, undefeated at home and away, only undefeated in America. It's still a huge deal to be undefeated at home. Like it's tough to win away and. The big thing is just don't drop these home games, and other teams drop them. Other teams lose at home to Texas A&M, and we don't. So,
yeah, man, it's awesome, man. Number 1 seed in the SEC tournament, locked up, and I think we'll talk about it later, but I think everything that happened today with the other contenders, I think helps us as much as we can hope for. So, really happy, man. Great day. I got to ask you, 2 questions. One, what was it like, the Auburn Arena experience compared to what you thought? We talked about maybe it wasn't the most hyped ever because we never really threatened. But number 1, that. Number 2, in-person basketball in the SEC this year, seeing it in person compared to TV, what were some of the things that kind of stood out to you?
Well, I'll do the atmosphere. I had a great time. Compared to where it was before, just night and day from where it's before. We've gushed about that 1,000 times already. For me, it was interesting to be there. There's been some amazing atmospheres over the last couple years, especially this year in the Kentucky and Pearlville and all that kind of stuff. And this one was a little downer than that. I was hoping to see the biggest moments ever. And there were some big, loud moments. The biggest, loudest moment, though, the entire game pretty much, was when we had sealed it and Jabari got fouled. He was going to the free throw. And that's when the crowd really kind of exploded all as one. I mean, I don't feel like the alumni got up super hard. I feel like ultimately we'd already sealed our portion of the SEC. We knew we needed to win this game. People just didn't want to lose this game, obviously. And we went up early, and that was part of the loudest we had. There was a play where Walker dunked on somebody, got a foul call, and that got really loud. And a couple stuff early on got really loud. But then we kept this kind of 10 to 17 point lead. We went back and forth, and it was a lot of just don't lose. So it wasn't like the most raucous atmosphere in the world. We didn't have this underdog atmosphere or anything like that. But compared to what it's been in the past, amazing.
What about the video? We had all the videos, the production. The production's way better than it ever was before. There's a lot more content that they can use for that. You saw former players there. Just kind of a party in a lot of ways, a celebration of what Bruce has built and continuing on this great journey of all these championships that we're consistently in the mix for, minus last year.
I got to see some of the outside stuff too. I got to see, I went to Auburn during the pandemic one time and saw some of the changes, but a lot of them hit me today. And looking around Auburn Arena and kind of when you look through the eyes of not things changing over time, but you've got a big gap in between or whatever. We keep winning, we're going to have to change up how we do the banners. There's too many of them for not greatly huge things. Hopefully, we win so much that we have to start putting them all on one banner and different things. We'll have to add an SEC one to this one. That'll be really cool. Hopefully some other ones to talk about, in the stadium watching live basketball when you've watched it on TV for so long. I mean, last time I watched the Final Four, I was so far away I couldn't even tell if it was Wiley or McEnroe on the court at the time. That's how far away I was. And they didn't have the screen on. But man, I was talking to Mac. I was like, is it always this physical out there? I know South Carolina is a super physical team. Frank Martin's always been a physical team, but man, you really get to see these plays away from the ball. Like Walker one time was going to try to get a block, and man, the guy just jacked him with his shoulder to keep him from getting the ball. The rebounding battles are a battle. I mean, they talk about that, but usually you're watching the shot or whatever, man. There's 3 or 4 guys right before the ball ever even goes in the air. They're elbowing and throwing things around. The screens are intense. We had a lot of baseline issues where we went out of bounds on the baseline where I thought was foul. It's just really physical. The referees at times, earlier in the game in the first half, there wasn't a lot of fouls, but there were. They just didn't necessarily call them, which was good. We usually like to play that way. Second half, they changed that up a bit, and there was a lot more fouls and a lot more tic-tac stuff. But it's physical out there, man. These guys are giants. You don't see the perspective until you see them in real life, and you see them warming up. We were down on the court to see Sonny and KT and Wes Flanagan, a couple other people out there, friends of the podcast. Michael Floyd. We saw Matt Plexico, great blonde hair. Matt, keep the blonde hair. And we had a great time, but it's just crazy to see how huge these guys are. If you ever had a friend or anything that's 6'9", 10, 11, you know how gigantic they are. And then you just throw them all on the court together, and you forget how just ridiculous these athletes are.
Oh yeah, you really see the whole game come together, right? I mean, you see everything that pieces. I don't know. It gives you a greater appreciation for what they've done. They played 31 of those games twice a week. All year.
It was a drudge just podcasting every single game. We didn't have to put our bodies on the line or anything. We were, we're 30 plus or whatever. We were worn out just not getting enough sleep after a game. They were out there banging, and getting sore and banging knees and doing stuff. So good on them. It's a grudge. That's why you need that depth. And we saw this game. We went back to the depth a little bit. We saw some Leor. We saw some Chris Moore. I think that might be. We talked about needing a tweak on this team, and the team overall looked good. I know we keep doing. We need some sort of adjustment. We do want to mess with things too much. Maybe that's it. It's just giving a little more minutes to some people to keep people a little fresher,
Definitely something to watch for. I love seeing all 11 guys, and then you get Preston and Chase in there as seniors at the end. So you play 13 players. Always good. And I think that's something to track. Cambridge and Flanagan played a little less. Chris Moore and Leor got in there a little bit. And we went with the 3-card lineup in the last minute and a half when they were in the fouling, pressing phase, which is great, right? You want ball handlers, you want good free throw shooters out there, but something to track for sure.
It seems to be our adjustment, right? We talked about adjustment. The 2 adjustments are maybe we're going to play some more depth with Leor and Chris Moore, which is the first game we've really done that. But 2 games in a row, we've done that guard lineup. We've had 3 guards in at a time, which can be an issue at times when you have Zepp and Wendell. And we talked about maybe there's a reason why we haven't been doing that before, because we noticed man, we have Wendell and Zepp in right now. Somebody needs a rest, and someone's not going to get a rest. So because we only have both their point guard. No one else on this team can really trust as a point guard. So
yeah. Anyway, do you have any other thoughts before we go?
I figured we get an MVP,
in person. This is also weird for us. We've always been on Zoom all year. So
it's weird to evaluate the game when you've watched it one way all year long, actually for several years in a row, and then you go see it live. Like if we did this live game, I'd evaluate it. Like I think I would end up with the same conclusion. It's just harder to know exactly the flow of the game's so weird when you're in there and you're worried about doing this or that. You're not just like going to the bathroom and you're part of it. You're like, oh yeah, and it just feels like the game's rhythm is different. You're watching the videos and just feels like you're a little more in an entertainment mode than you are in analyzing mode. But forget about MVP. I feel like it was a really great team effort.
It was.
But ultimately, like I don't think there's anybody like that's. I mean, no one stood out super hard. So it's kind of like our default, right? Jabari's the default because he's so amazing, and he's only been amazing for so many weeks now in a row. So many games in a row, he just does insane stuff. The 4-point play tonight was probably one of the biggest highlights. That, or maybe Kessler's reverse dunk from a fast break,
or his dunk on the guy,
or a dunk on the guy. There was a hamburger.
He almost had an epic dunk too.
Yeah.
Kessler, if he had thrown down that left hand one.
I love that Kessler and Jabari are going for murder moments. They have not like I guess Jabari kind of got a couple last game where he really threw one down, but both him and Kessler have been going for it now. That's exactly what we need them to do, and I'm loving that it's like both those players feel like they're peaking. And Kessler, side note too, he wore the brace again tonight or today, and he looked good. He looked fine.
Better.
Maybe
he looked better.
Yeah, he did. I don't think he's 100%. I don't think he was like where he was a week ago. But man, last game he looked like he was holding his arm a little weird. It just didn't feel right. I don't think he's back 100% or anything. But he hit some threes. He looked good. Hopefully he's got a week now.
And now he gets 6 days exactly.
So I think it's easy.
Two other kids. It's Jabari, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. But if you had to throw a couple guys out, I think we have to give a shout out to Katie Johnson. Played the most minutes, 32 minutes, 18. And we talked about before we start recording, a quiet 18 for KD is so encouraging because he was so loud of a player earlier in the season. For him to have 18 and be, let me check. I mean, he shot 15 and Jabari shot 12, so he shot a lot. But I felt like
it didn't feel like it though, right?
No, it didn't
feel
used
to feel like he was being selfish with the ball. He wasn't passing. He was being too loud. He was like either winning loudly or losing loudly. And now, man, he's just casually getting these 15 plus points a game. We've noticed he has this weird tendency to not take open threes, and he dribbles and then takes a three. But then we've also noticed he finally kind of did this game take those open threes straight off the pass, and it was bad. It was air balls and bricks and stuff. And the times that he took the ball in and dribbled and then shot, they went in. So at this point, I mean, sure, fix that going forward. Next year, fix that. This year, man, if that's what he has to do, if he's more comfortable off a dribble than he is a pass, so be it.
Yeah.
We're not going to fix this with, theoretically minimum 2 games left.
He had multiple steals, very big plays, big moments. I think they had the ball down 9, and KD just read a pass in the backcourt and stole it and got us free throws, I think, or something like that. So he was really good.
He just knows when to go to these days, doesn't he? He just knows. He senses blood in the water on our own team.
Yes.
That it's time for him to step up and go and drive and get something done. He does it.
He's figured out the role.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were wanting. I feel the best about where Jabari is as our elite scorer. At this point, he's scoring 20 plus every game, which don't underestimate how hard that is to do in college basketball. Yeah. He's not getting in foul trouble. He's playing smart. He needs to toughen up. We'll talk about a couple things in certain areas, but KD is in right behind him. I feel like KD's in a wonderful spot going into the tournaments. Yeah. The other guy I would point out is Wendell Green, 10 points, 7 assists. I'm going to check his turnovers live. 0.
Oh,
0 turnovers.
That's a great stat line. But he missed a bunch of time with 4 fouls.
He did get in some foul trouble, and it's his fault he got the 4th. He was mad at the ref, but he took a swipe at him. But anyway, so we've talked about how Wendell's kind of this barometer in a way when he is playing well and efficient. I think that was one of my pregame notes. So I think those 3 played really well, and then Kessler showed a little improvement, just healthier. I think he looked healthier, more like himself.
We know we know he can peak a lot higher, Kessler. Wendell, we talked about what we thought. We kind of did a little pre-podcast. We never posted. We just test out the audio and everything. But about what does Wendell need to do to kind of get back to where he was? We're not some big experts to really know that kind of stuff. But we talk about getting in the lane and creating stuff from inside the lane because they're pushing way up on him. And then when he drives super hard, they're coming over to him and daring him to pick to either lob out where they're the 3 guys coming in to kind of hedge on that and then saying, sure, throw it out to Cambridge, throw it out to Flanagan, throw it to Chris Moore. We'd love for them to shoot that shot. So it's kind of throwing things off. So if he can stop around the free throw line and kind of create from there, it changes things up. And I think he had some jumpers tonight,
Yep.
some floaters,
And he only
made some
took
good
7
passes.
shots. He only took 7 shots for him. And he still played. Actually, foul trouble. He only played 22 minutes. So that's part of
That's
it.
pretty efficient. 22 minutes when he was in. Other than the fouls.
I love seeing him play that efficiently. Let's just gush. I mean, I think half the reason you're here is to see Jabari Smith in person. So
both him and Kessler, to be honest, like people people are. There is a difference. I hate that it's a thing. Like I almost wish professional sports didn't exist so that we could like enjoy this wholly because this is our sport. I like the NBA, whatever. But there's a portion of that. This dude could end up being like one of the all-time greats in the NBA and be there for 15 years and be a star and a team's go around. And I'm gonna be able to say I was there to see him when I'm back wherever and we're watching an NBA game. Like, oh man, yeah, I saw him in college. He went to my school. I flew in to see him. You know, people are gonna be like, cool.
What was it like? He didn't miss a 3. He didn't miss a free throw. 8 for 8 from the line. What was it like to watch the Jabari Smith play?
He's peaking and he does stuff that no one else can do. I will probably never see this again. The insanity, like I don't think people take it for granted necessarily. But man, when you watch that he can just in anybody's face, no one else can do that. You know, like just and it's a good shot every time. That's the insane thing. People shoot contested threes and contested jump shots and everything all the time, but like his are good shots. Like just if we can just get him the ball. Like there was times he had part of it's him. He needs to get open or whatever. But then all he does is get the ball. If he gets the ball, he makes a shot or he controls a foul. Like it's crazy. He's like a cheat code. They call him a cheat code.
Like, yes. And here's a sign that he was really working that going to the basket. He was 2 for 9 from 2. So not super efficient, but that shows you he only took 3 threes. He took 9 2-point shots. He's being aggressive. He's working on that part of the game that I think you've craved. You know, him saying, my only nitpicky thing, he's still we had much a better team rebounding effort in this game. Like nobody had more than 6, but he and Walker led with 6. But South Carolina just bullied him when he was boxing out on a defensive rebound. And I think everybody he's such a threat. Jabari's such a good player that I think people are finding like, hey, we're just going to punish him on the glass. We're going to put our elbow in his back. We're going to push him around. If we get a foul, okay, we're going to try to wear him out. And we lost the Connecticut game because we didn't box out.
Yeah.
So little things, but man, how special is he? He had another 4-point play today. Just such a good player.
It's insane out there. Yeah, we lost the rebounding battle by 1. They got 40. We got 39. It's an issue. We got to keep working on it. I mean, it's part of having these small guards out there.
You take that against South Carolina, though. In general, if you break even, they're just so physical. And Frank Martin deserves a lot of credit. They don't have the most talent, but, man, they always play just so tough. And you saw it. Auburn went up 20 in the second half, I think, at one point. And they just kept coming. They kept fighting. And they will push you around. And, really, they attacked our small guards. And I thought they overall did a really good job of defending it.
This one guy came at Wendell. It was a whole thing.
Hey, we have a fan. This is our dream. This is our dream.
Hey, this guy's listening to our podcast right now. What do you want to say?
I just want to say, War Eagle, what a great job you guys are doing. We're happy to see someone finally give the attention to the Auburn basketball program and have a fan-dedicated, podcast. And hearing you guys talk about it, you can hear the enthusiasm and what you guys are doing.
It's a lot of fun, man.
Thank y'all for doing it.
What's your name?
Chris Woodham, Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, we got somebody. Thank you.
War Eagle. Y'all, that was our goal for this whole trip. So, shout out to Chris.
We also had some people at the front of the line at the jump at the kids going in or whatever. We had met a kid that Matt gave a pizza to beforehand on one of the games called back for the Florida game and went up to him and said, hey, and like, oh, you're the Joe. And like, I thought I recognized that voice, so that was kind of fun, yeah.
We're building Jackson's ego with this trip of this podcast. It's fantastic.
Matt's too, don't worry. But it's also good to hear from him to say that really cool. He appreciates that it's all basketball specific because that's what we wanted to do. We think this team's so good and all these we don't have to have these podcasts that are from a bigger perspective. It deserves its own fan base. It deserves its own culture, its own memes, its own stuff. And this year it really feels like we cemented that.
Doesn't it feel like this year grew it we don't know what's going to happen the next few years, but it just feels like this year is this celebration and maturing of what we've tried to build the last few years. This team has just been such a Bruce Pearl team in every way.
It's been fun. It feels like we've really put that, no matter if we win a national championship or a SEC tournament, we have cemented a culture at Auburn. The Neville's money kind of stuff is huge from the financial side to really be investing in infrastructure side, but from a culture side, that's what I care about the most. If we just set concrete in a pole that said we have a culture that's distinct from other parts of this school, and has its own thing going on. And that's
And doesn't it feel that way? Like seeing when you're walking, we went up and had breakfast close to where the students were lining up. It feels like there's this whole different experience, you know, for a lot of people. And people are settled into this basketball thing being legit. It's so cool to see it full. Just the energy, that arena does such a great job of these roars, you know, these moments where something great happens, and we saw a lot of that today. There were a lot of great, impressive, physical alley-oops and ones, and just lots of great things. So yeah, we're probably gonna get sidetracked gushing about our experience.
I fear at the end we might just let it roll till this battery dies on Matt's computer. We're just going offline right now, so we can do. I think we can submit Jabari Smith MVP for this game. We're gonna do. I'll probably do it this week when we have a little off time between the SEC tournament to see who has most MVPs. I bet it's Jabari, but Kessler and KD, you'll be up there. Wendell will be up there. We'll see what the lead is, and we'll keep it going. And hopefully there'll be like a tight race maybe down the stretch, and we'll see who ends up with like the actual title. But we'll look at pregame notes real quick on our Instagram. Go check out our Instagram. We've done a lot of stuff, a lot of content today.
Jackson's social media stuff's been great today. I was looking at it during halftime of the game, and lots of funny stuff. If you haven't been in Auburn in a while, it might be cool to check out. It's just been fun to be back in the town. It's been a while, especially post COVID, right? Like maybe not, whether post COVID, whatever, but like it's been a few years. It's been 3 years since that big run we had in basketball, and it feels like this is kind of the next step.
Cool to see for the students. We talked about it during the Pearlville stuff, but just really cool. Like it really sucks for the students to miss out on some of these moments. You only get these 4 years, you know, and like I don't know. We are older and we got to like it sucks too. It sucks for everybody, but they missed out on things that they'll never get back, you know. But we can do pregame notes.
So did we with Sharif last year. Thanks, NCAA.
Matt's was, does Walker Kessler play? How effective does he look?
Yeah, I was curious if they would try to sit him for 9 days and give him the day off. The way Bruce answered his questions yesterday, I assumed that wouldn't happen. And then how does he look? He came out and warmed up without the brace, and we were like, oh, you know, maybe. But obviously he's still, I would say, I don't know what you'd put it on. I listen to the Bill Simmons podcast all the time. People make fun of him for picking random percentages. I feel like maybe he was like 55% in the last game, maybe 70, 75%. We didn't see those epic blocks. Yeah. But don't you feel like teams are getting a little better at not challenging him as much?
Maybe they know where to go. I mean, there's all that footage on him now. So they know his left hand and they know what they need to do. It doesn't. There was a long thing there where it said, "Oh, these people need to pump fake more. That's what's happening. Not pump faking like that." No, he got everyone that pump faked every time. So maybe people are figuring out kind of. I think what part of it is. It feels like the big guys down low, when they're going to drive, they're not looking to get a pass. They're looking to clear out Walker Kessler from a blocking position. We saw it several times tonight where it would look like Walker would have been in a good position to get a block, and the big guy on the other side is pushing him out of there. And it's probably a foul. Yeah. They're just never going to call that. You'll never see a offensive foul from the other guy pushing the blocker out of the way, basically. Right. So maybe that's a great strategy from people. I hate it. I hope it doesn't keep happening.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know that. I mean, how many shots would you might have looked? How many shots did he have tonight?
7.
13.
Well, he shot a lot of threes. He shot at least 4 threes, right?
I think that tells he had 4 3 attempts, made 1. I feel like he just looked more like himself.
Man, it felt like he made 2, but I guess
it was a long 2. He made a really long 2 with the foot.
Oh, that was a long 2. Yeah. Dang. And the third one, that rattled in and out like a freaking Disney Channel movie. It hit in like inside the cylinder like 4 times before finally bounced out.
Great to see him play 27 minutes. Great to see him shoot that. He only had 4 shot attempts against Mississippi State. Just didn't quite look the same.
3 steals, 2 blocks. Man, the steals have gotten pretty interesting. He called his own tip at the beginning of the game, which is not allowed actually. So they had to give it back. Yeah, I think they keep people from just like going up and grabbing it. I guess which is not a thing you can do in D1.
Glad he looked a little healthier. Really hope this 6-day break is going to help him.
Yeah, hopefully this wind's not messing with our audio.
We'll find
see,
out.
But it's fun to do it outside with tumors behind us and other people walking by. The next one is, can Wendell Green be an aggressive playmaker while also stirring the drink for others offensively?
Love it. Felt like I was a soothsayer here. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. Felt like he was in complete control. He didn't get, he's been losing the ball, kind of loose with the ball at times. Felt like he was getting that mid-range shot or getting others that mid-range shot. Overall, I feel like the guards did a good job with that. And I really think we go as Wendell goes in a lot of ways. So really good to see him have a bounce-back performance. He's been great at home. We need him to do the same kind of thing in Tampa next week.
Next one is, South Carolina typically plays very physically. Will Auburn be tough enough to get hard rebounds and play through fouls?
Kind of. They were for most of the game. Great to even out rebounds against South Carolina. That's awesome. But man, it did feel like South Carolina was able to push us around a little bit and kind of bring the physical battle, especially our guards. They really attacked our guards downhill. But our guards stood up to it okay. And I think at least we didn't get torched on the glass like we have the last 2 games. So maybe that's a little progress there.
We've had some different teams try different things on the guards. We know the guards are small. Like, people try different ways to abuse that and different ways to figure it out. There was that weird stretch there where people are trying to get really working late into offenses to get one-on-one back downs with our guards and mismatches and stuff. And it really didn't work out that well for them.
Right.
And so we've seen different things. Tonight, man, Wendell got pushed real bad by one of their point guard, maybe a larger point guard kind of guy, and just fouling the mess out as part of it. Why he had foul problems tonight, because they were going at him, and he fouled him pretty good. He went to the free throw line, and Wendell just kept walking towards. I think maybe it was Cardwell that pulled Wendell back, and they just kept walking towards. And the referees tried to don't say anything, and then he went to the free throw line, stood right next to the guy, and then when the guy made it, the ball was about to bounce back to the guy, and he grabbed the ball and was like, nah. So he's a dog, he's a fighter, but he's small.
When you're a small guy, man, that's just your life. You don't back down from anything. Tough. I thought all 3 guards, Sepp and KD and Wendell, played really tough. It was a tough battle for them. South Carolina's going to go downhill, and you felt when they start calling the fouls, that plays into what South Carolina wants. We've had so many matchups with them where that if the ref calls everything, it's going to be a 2.5-hour game, and you're going to foul guys out. Fortunately, we didn't tonight, but
they just want to make it dirty. That game, make it dirty, rough it up, and I guess that's a good strategy when you don't have a lot of good, talented players. They had a chance. They went to the Final Four a couple years back. I mean, it was based off a season that wasn't great for them. They were 11 seed or some ridiculously low seed to go to a Final Four. But maybe they could have built off that. But who wants to play in that system where they're just we know we're not that great. We're just going to be really rough and tumble. And I don't know.
It's a representation of their fans in a lot of ways, because South Carolina fans are super passionate and loyal. In other sports where they do not have any success, but they still manage to show up all the time. So.
I hope we got this great Dane in our back of our podcast. He's a big boy. I'm very distracted by all the things that are happening. There's people rolling stuff around, lots of kids having a good time. Reminds me of when I was a kid. Come up here, I had family around this area, so it's pretty cool. But these kids will never know a not good Auburn basketball team. Mine was, can Wendell get his groove back? And I think so. I think ultimately it's pretty good. I think he had a 3 or 2.
Again, isn't it nice that he had a good game and was a little quieter, kind of like KD, just not as loud.
Let's see what his actual stats was. I know we've already pulled it up once or twice. I'm having to look. A lot of people played this game, so I had to look through this. 3 of 7 from the field, so not great still. 1 of 3 from 3, 10 points. But the 7 assists were really good. He had a couple good passes. He had a really good one to Cardwell, if I remember right, a bounce pass. Well, that too. He actually had some good lobs today, actually. That's probably where most of those assists come from, which is really cool. I noted, maybe it would be noticeable on TV too, but it was really noticeable in person. You could throw that ball in a pretty large area, and Cardwell and Kessler will go and get it and throw it down. And I was talking to Matt during the game, which was really interesting to finally – we text all game long. It's really interesting to actually be able to, make comments back and forth on different plays or whatever. But I don't know. They just need to throw the ball up more. Because I commented to him that I'm just getting so distracted by everything I hear. It's cool. But he can throw him out there. I don't think I've seen him miss yet this year. It's almost a bad sign because I want him take that risk. These guys are getting balls from a large perspective. If you haven't thrown one yet where they haven't been able to go get it, that means you haven't tested that range yet. So I hope he does that some more instead of trying to get blocked or just not working out. Just throw it up there some more times. We'll see. Make them go get it. They can go get it.
Absolutely. It seems like he's been tentative. He's been tentative a little bit at that decision-making point, and you really feel it live because it's such a split-second decision. You have to read that second defender. And again, I just love that Wendell was comfortable in the mid-range. Our guards just felt like everybody did that, and I think that's a big key to unlocking some of this stuff.
Well, my next one was, how hurt is Walker? Can he contribute offensively? He's a little better. We've talked about it a bunch already. You don't have to get too far into it. His 3 game looked really good this game. We've gone back and forth with teams just leaving him wide open. It's been interesting. There's some big men on this other team. The weirdest ones are the games where he's got to go against other actually good big men and what will happen in those games. And he's been back and forth on those. He's been very good. He's held his own. He just hasn't been as dominant. He wasn't dominant this game, even though they didn't have a big guy. It's just been interesting to see how other teams play against him. And this is one of the rare ones where they just left him open for 3. The crowd was begging him to shoot 3s. His first 3 he made, the crowd begged him to shoot it. He sat up there for a minute and people went, Derek Hall, you want to be on the podcast?
No.
No. Well, Derek Hall won't. It's about Auburn basketball.
The jungle.
The jungle.
You good?
Yeah.
You good? Either way.
Come by if you want. We got a player from another sport that might come by and say, hey, a big fan of Auburn basketball. And we're talking about Walker Kessler, though, and he played good. He hit some good threes. He should have hit another three. It was pretty cool. That's my Walker. We talked about Walker much already.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our next one is
one point.
Yeah.
So when Cardwell's in, they do not even plan for him. They let him go at the 3-point line. Have you noticed that? No one pays attention to Dylan Cardwell. So I think it's easier for other teams on the scout to just say, hey, just leave their centers alone. If Kessler hits 4 threes, we deal with it. You know what I mean? That's the last of their concerns on our team. So I think you're going to see more and more teams give Walker that shot.
Yeah, he's shown that he can make it. I just don't know what percentage it's going to end up being. But compared to some of the players on our team, it's been higher. So.
The one where his foot's on the line, if you count that, he had 40% from 3 today.
Yeah.
2 for 5, you take it all the time.
It looks good too. That's a big deal too. We saw Cambridge's shot today. I saw it live for the first time. The Jungle Auburn basketball podcast. We've done every single game this season. We decided to come live for this SEC championship.
Look at this guy.
This is Derek Hall, big fan of Auburn basketball. One of the biggest fans.
You've been at every game, just about every conference game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that been like for you, just to be like in front and center? And I saw you talking to number 10 today. Y'all had a little battle.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh man, it's great. Just being in the atmosphere around all the other students, just taking it in. Just having the opportunity to be a regular student from time to time. Just really, downtime in the spring, not having that busy schedule. So just taking it all in, and just being there for support. I mean, they came in the fall and supported us.
Yeah.
So we want to return the favor. And obviously they're making great strides, and Coach Perry's doing a great job with that program. So just being able to be there and support them was a huge part of our decision.
Did you play ball in high school?
I did.
Okay.
I played basketball.
Well, what's the
You wish you
scouting
were out
report?
there?
What's the scouting report on you as a high school player?
I did it all. I wasn't great. I was ranked top 15 in my state.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I was
That's a
like
big deal.
Southern Miss or something. It wasn't nowhere big, but it was just.
What was your position?
I played the 3, the 4, and the 5.
Oh,
So
okay.
I just.
Down the lineup.
You think you can dunk on somebody out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can jump out of jail. There ain't no issue.
You can do Cambridge's role. You can alley it up to you.
Yeah.
All right.
It may not be as pretty, but.
Now you say if there's a couple injuries in the game and you're on the sideline and Bruce calls you up, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
You ready? All right.
What a man.
I'm in there.
I love the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's cool to see the combo y'all have had. We saw those great videos from. I don't know if you got to see that on the sideline while y'all were staying. You see Cambridge and Cardwell taking his shirt off, doing crazy stuff, and then you guys come in and contribute. It's so cool to see this like family atmosphere. Is Coach Arson talking to you guys about that, or is that kind of like a team led thing?
Well, I mean, that's just Auburn. What's Auburn always been. Auburn is family, so we come out and support one another and try to show our love and support the best way we can. And you love Auburn, Auburn love you back. So just getting around all the sporting events, and like I said, Auburn is family, and family is Auburn. So just being able to get around and show everybody support and love is our goal and what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Michael Floyd, the VP of AU Jungle?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. We're getting everybody. You want to be on the podcast?
I'm good.
You sure? All right. Cool, Derek. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Thank
War
you.
Eagle. Yeah, it's really cool to see you out there. Hope you just keep
Have a good
seeing
spring.
it.
All right. Appreciate you.
Well, that's part of the reason we did the podcast outside Tumors. You never know who you'll run into. This Auburn family, man.
This is just making our day. This is awesome. I was a little iffy on some of this stuff, but it's been great.
It's part of the fun. I want to briefly shout out, in case there's anybody in this audience, Podcast About Outside. They do their podcasts outside and have random people come on the podcast. So it's not completely my idea. Shout out to Channel 5, too. They do this kind of stuff.
Did we get to the 3 position?
Yeah, my last one, because we just talked about, we might have Derek Hall come play some 3 position if we need to. Can the 3 position be at least a non-liability? And it was super interesting to see that Leor and Chris Moore played a decent amount this game. I think that's what they're adjusting to. And, man, it's just – I saw Cambridge's shot for the first time live tonight, and there's always that talk about fixing Cambridge's shot and how weird his shot is on TV, and maybe it doesn't quite translate how weird it is. Man, watching it live, his shot is weird. He's like way back, kind of like a soccer player does it back here, and it spins off kind of weird, too. It's just strange to see. And then Allen, man, he played some decent defense, but his offense, he had 2 possessions in a row where he turned the ball over pretty bad. I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but it was two in a row that were really bad, and his shooting's not great.
Missed a couple layups, close shots.
The difference is, like, at least Cambridge has kind of gotten to a point where he's like, okay, I'm just going to do the little things, and Flanagan's still got this mindset that he was preseason All-SEC, and so he wants to keep doing that. We've been hoping he would break through, honestly. I think it's time to pack that up and just be like, nah, you got to just do the little things. Like, unless you have an open three.
But he's settled in. I don't think he's forcing
He's
it.
calls a couple
Well,
big
look,
turnovers.
he's
every
turning
game.
it over. I agree with that.
The point is, don't be a liability. It's liability.
Well, yeah.
So,
But like when
and that's why you had to play Chris Moore and Leor.
Well, so Leor, I think, came in because Wendell had 2 fouls, and they chose to play offense for defense.
He came in early, right? Didn't he have a possession pretty early?
No, Leor only came in when Wendell had 2 in the first half. Chris Moore, I think, was part of the plan. I think you're right.
2 in the first. Okay, sorry.
Chris Moore was clearly, he played both halves, some minutes, and I think they looked at the 3 position last game and just said, why not play Chris Moore for 8 minutes? And he had some great plays. He forced some turnovers. Yeah. He had a really good rebound or 2. He
should have had 2.
Almost had a layup.
Should have had 2 if it wasn't a goaltending that they didn't call. There were some weird calls by the refs on the sideline and that one. You know, there's always some weird stuff like this. The refs. Man, yeah, that 3 position. We just gotta get. It's to a point where just be cool. Don't cause turnovers. Don't think you're a playmaker. Like, just get it done.
It did feel like they got back to doing the things that make them good. Like, I thought Flanagan got some tough rebounds. Chris Moore did. Cambridge did. That's what we need. We need that extra rebounding support, obviously, from the last 2 games. And I think you're starting to see them maybe find their lane a little bit. But you're right. That's something to track for sure. Like, how we went to that 3-guard lineup at the very end and took the 3 out.
Yeah, that's the other adjustment. It's all based on this fact that our 3s have been liabilities recently. We just didn't expect that. I think neither did the coaches, and then they expected Flanagan to kind of get it together by this time of the year, even if he had to push through some issues, and he hasn't. So they're doing this late in the year adjustment, you know, and I'm glad they are. So that's notes. I guess we can go through the players here.
I want to look through a couple stats here, just team-wise. We haven't really touched on the shooting. Auburn shot 41% from the field. South Carolina was 39%.
We shot more from the field than we did from 3. Or no, we did better from 3 than we did from field.
And that's big for this team.
We've had kind of a trend of missing 2s weird. We have not had a lot of great 2s. We've been missing layups for some reason. Like, and part of this we've talked about, like, Cambridge is not a great finisher at the rim. KD does weird stuff where he just waits for the foul sometimes and doesn't finish when he needs to. Wendell's just too small right now. He used to finish the rim a little more and he just doesn't. Cardwell podcast. Podcast, the Jungle Podcast. Yes, thank you. With the net on. Holy crap. Dylan Cardwell is over here riding on a scooter with a net on, and we got to take a photo. Oh, man. We're about to go through Dylan Cardwell's stats right now. Maybe we'll go through the stats with him. That would be interesting. I thought he had 9 points. I swear he had 9 points. He had 6 points on 13 minutes. And people are getting little photos with him here, but hopefully we can have him on the podcast soon.
Yeah, I can go solo for a couple minutes.
I think he'll come over a bit. But he's just scooting. Here, move the thing so you can see him behind there.
There he is.
It's cool. Check it out on YouTube so you can see him over here. Everybody's really excited to see him. He's probably gonna be too busy taking photos here.
He's got the nets. The nets around the neck is one of the best moves.
Dylan Cardwell, holy crap! This is why we've been podcasting every single postseason game this year, and this week decided we come live. Flew in from New York and Nashville, and here it is. This is why we did it.
Dylan Cardwell here.
Can I touch the net? Oh my God! We're touching the net. We're at Tumor's Corner with Dylan Cardwell. We just had Derek Hall on a minute ago. He just went by. We had Wes Flanagan on last week. We had Stephen Pearl on the week before.
We don't need to prove ourselves.
Okay, all right.
Listen, for real, we love the way you play, and we it's just so much fun. So what was it like? It was cutting down the nets, everything you guys have dreamed about and worked so hard for.
It's like I was on an NFL Super Bowl commercial, man. It was crazy with the confetti and everything, man. That just like a kid. It was like, dang, like I tried to imagine how. Like, I started thinking back about how everybody else was doing it, how Michael Jordan was celebrating, how funny, how Giannis celebrated, how Bobby Portis was celebrating, man. I'm like, you know what? Let me make myself known. So I went over to the student section, threw the confetti like I was LeBron. I did everything I could think of. Like, I wanted to do everything I could possibly think of so I wouldn't go home and be like, damn, what's this, what's that? Man, I got the most out of it I could. I did a little snow angel thing.
You took the shirt off on the floor.
You took the shirt off.
I did everything I possibly could, man.
Everybody keeps their eyes on you, dude, because you bring the energy all the time.
We talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about that. I think most fans, if they got the opportunity to be on the team, would do what you're doing. Embrace every moment. Have a good time with everybody. You only get to do this for 4 years, you know.
Look at that.
You get it. And I think it comes back to your recruitment a little bit, too. You had to wait a little longer to get on the team, and you understood the value of this team, how cool it is, and how the opportunity. Not everybody does, right?
Our group of fans,
I was an Auburn football fan. I remember seeing Cam Newton here. And,
Yeah.
man, I just know how it feels to be a fan, and that's why I vouch to like never say no to a picture, because I know how it feels to say been told
Never
no.
say no to say no podcast either.
Yeah,
You didn't know you had to say that, right?
If somebody asks for something, I'll do it. Like, as long as it's cool, and it's gonna be a memory for them. So it's all about the fans in general. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be here without them, without their support. Neither would this team. So I try to cherish every moment, and I'm a fan at heart. I'm a fan of this team. I'm a fan of myself.
I was
So
gonna say, how much fun are y'all having together?
You were the avatars for our fans out there. We love it, man.
yeah, I'm having too much fun. It's just fun just to win. Last year was a down year, and it's just crazy that we just turn around this quick and get a championship. I've never had a championship in my life. This is my first ever.
Man,
And I had,
It's that rare, right?
Yeah, I haven't had a high school championship, middle school championship. I won a region JV. I played JV. I ran a region JV.
But you remember it, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, I won one championship. I didn't get a ring for it. This is my first ring. I've been ring chasing since I was in fourth grade. I remember seeing the Heat's ring. I was like, I need me a ring. I need a ring bad.
Well, that's what we've said from the beginning of the season. We felt like this team being picked fifth was a little disrespectful, and for me, this was a ring chasing team. Like, you guys had the pieces. I think it's incredible though how quickly this new group came together with so many new pieces.
Yeah, we met. I want to say a huge shout out to KD, man. He's a big part of that.
Oh,
So,
yeah, the
so
energy.
influential. Off the court, y'all don't even see it.
Yeah, tell us about that.
He's super influential, man. He brings in so many jokes. He's laughing. He's giggling, man. He made us play we played 2K and Madden all day and all night. He's just the person to hang out with. Everybody hung out, and then he's the spark plug for that. And not everyone's hanging out. I never had it on a team where the whole team can hang out and bond with each other. Usually it's a clicky, but this team is not clicky at all. It's like everyone's each other's brother. It's a rare opportunity. It's rare how quickly we mesh.
What was it like Wednesday night watching him just take things? I mean,
I'm used to it, man.
Y'all see it every day.
He just seems to know, right?
I played with him in 10th grade.
Okay.
Like that's the best man to give it to down the line, in my opinion. I can't quote me on that, but man, I just love him and his aggression.
Yeah.
He gets to the basket better than anybody in the nation, and he's hard to stay in front of. And I feel like no one knew that coming into college. So it's a blessing to have him on the team. Like, he gets the crowd going just as much as me. He gets our team going more than anything. He has a lot of energy. So it's just like I feel for him. He feels for me. It's just great to have him on the team.
Did you think anybody else on this team would have as much energy as you? You go nuts and have a great time out there, and he goes even more nuts. He goes Super Saiyan out there. You too.
Yeah, he just makes crazy faces. I'm not here for the faces. I get my body into it. He gets all stiff. My favorite celebration is when he shoots a three and he jumps like this.
Yes, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
He starts seizing. I'm like, bro, someone check with this man.
Do you have a nickname? Like, we have our own nicknames for KD? The little
psychopath.
Yeah, the psychopath. Our psycho. Does the team know all that stuff? Do y'all have your own nicknames?
We don't have our own nickname. Not really. I think so.
Yeah. What I just have to ask about the memes. Like, do y'all see?
Oh my gosh.
Was that a big thing this year when that started?
Are you secretly going through?
Yeah, we are. I've never seen memes like that. Yeah. What does the peacock mean? No one knows.
So I can't explain it. Like many things at Auburn, right? Don't let's hold you up. But a guy wrote who writes on College of Magnolia, one of the blogs, just a fan, wrote something about how there's this part of the Auburn fan experience that sometimes we're nervous about, like something negative happening. When things are going really well, you're just waiting for something to go bad.
Yeah.
And he talked about how the peacock just struts around and shows its stuff. And this was before like SEC play, so before y'all started up so hot. And it's like, y'all, we just need to like embrace this team. Y'all lost one game to UConn. We need to be like peacocks. We just need to like
stop hedging your bets.
Stop hedging your bets.
Stop saying stuff before game. Maybe we'll lose. Don't worry about it. No, it said, nah, we good. Like, get out there.
We got these guys. We feel like and really for us, it's just to enjoy you guys playing because y'all play such a fun brand of ball and not to be overly stressed. Although we get stressed like y'all do too. But
I get stressed, man. I'm a football fan. I was stressed. Man, the LSU game, I ran from CVS down here, but before that, I was super duper stressed. Bowden just was running around the pocket like a chicken with his head cut off. And he threw it a touchdown. I'm like, goodness gracious, man. And Darth Vader a huge run at the end, man. I know how it feels to be an Auburn fan. So I'll tell you, man.
I didn't know you grew up being an Auburn fan. That's great.
Yeah,
it's rare.
My uncle Ronnie Garner.
Really? No. How do we not know that?
We're terrible.
Yeah.
Ronnie Garner is my uncle.
That's cool, man.
He helped recruit me here and everything. He's the one that told me actually wait. I was going to go to Tennessee or Georgia, one of the two. He told me to wait out, or Michigan, one of the two. One of the three. But yeah, he just told me to wait out, and he's like, you want to be at Auburn. Like, he knew it. He kind of knew it. I'm a family man. This is the best environment I've ever seen in the nation. Like, I'm friends with almost everybody I go to school with. this is a great environment. Especially, I love football, and the football experience is better than anything.
Yeah.
So this is an all around blessing, man. It's a blessing to be here. I'm just grateful.
It's cool to have you on. We talk about you every podcast.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
we talked to Marlene and she's gotten us some of the coaches and stuff. We're like, hey, if you could get us any player, man, like Dylan Cardwell's our guy.
Yeah.
So this is fate, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Where were you heading? Are you heading to Tumors or something?
I was gonna chill around here and see what else is popping.
Yeah, well, podcast stuff. I was gonna say we talked about what you might do in your further career, of course, play NBA or whatever. We also saw that the WWE wrestling is getting college athletes to come try out. Did you see that? No, thank you. You would like grow. You would be amazing in that.
I just can't wear a
You know how to wear. You could wear a Batman uniform out there if you want.
Yeah, no, my passion is basketball. After the NBA, around time in the NBA, I want to be an NBA analyst, and then get into ministry.
Okay.
Be a co-pastor. Huge.
You want to be on camera? You think?
Me? Yeah, I want to be in front of the camera. I can't be behind the camera.
I mean, that's what I meant. Sorry.
I'm the show.
Exactly. No, we love that. You know, we saw what Charles Barkley has done for our fan base and for our school after his career is over, and to see you out there embracing, like, knowing, understanding the crowd, understanding like market, kind of like Bruce does, understanding. Yeah, it's perfect. We're really looking forward to seeing even past your playing career what you end up doing.
Yeah, it's just a blessing to have as much insight on what I want to do. Because not many people know that when you do basketball. Because before I got to college, it was just straight basketball, and that was my identity. And then I got coached this guy, and he showed me that you're more than just a basketball player. You could do way much more, so much more than that, and that's why I've been trying to show this year. I'm more than a basketball player. You know, what I do with the jumbotron. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I take my shirt off. I've spoken at a Ignite event. So I was just like, I've been trying to just build my philanthropy more than anything.
That's great, man.
So I just realized that basketball's gonna start moving one day. It's gonna start bouncing one day. When I retire, I want to do as much as I can. I want to have fun. I don't want to be behind the computer. I want to be.
Oh no, you don't want to be behind the computer.
Hey, you're talking to two guys stuck behind a computer all the time. You're right.
You actually have the opportunity. So I'm glad you're taking it.
Yeah.
Some people don't take it by the horns.
I'm not gonna brush this bull and break his neck.
Well, we'd love to keep you on as long as you want to stay on. You want to talk about your stat numbers? We were just about to talk about it.
That alley-oop, man. We were talking about seeing the alley-oop in person and how far Wendell can throw that away from the bucket for you to. I mean, just what goes. Y'all, it's like clockwork, right? Y'all do it so much.
It's a lot sometimes. It depends.
But the timing,
the further out, it's harder to time. I've dropped 2 passes here, and one at Florida, he threw it from like the 3-point line.
There's been some long ones.
Yeah, I looked. I'm like, I lost the ball, and I looked in the student section. I'm in the midair. I'm like, wow, where's the ball? I dropped the ball. I said, it's hard to time the further away it is, but once she goes downhill, you're right beside him. I just know it's coming. One today, like I jumped. Like so high, I like got afraid of touching the ball, and I like fingertipped it in. It was crazy.
Your touch has gotten a lot better
Yeah.
last year. Have you been working on that? Like,
Just
what is your
confident.
game?
Being confident. Last year I was afraid to miss, and this year it's like, you know what? Who cares if you miss a couple shots? So I just been trying to just put up on the rim, give it a chance, and thank God it's been going in, man. It's been going in a lot. It's been going in more than I expected. I gave a lot of speed.
We love the red, rebound energy defense thing. I mean that and it's so contagious. It's so contagious. And I think the thing that's getting missed about y'all's team is y'all are a great half court defensive team.
Yep, sure are.
And when you close out with a defensive rebound, y'all are gonna be really hard to beat. Just your first shot percentages are off the charts. Y'all getting stopped all day. And I mean, I feel like you and other guys have a big piece of that. Just defense. It's not always. If you don't have a team that embraces that, it's not always fun.
Yeah, you saw that with Baylor last year.
Absolutely.
Man, they defended their butts off. They were in sync. That's a scary team.
What was it like to play Gonzaga and Baylor last year early?
For you, was intimidating. The name intimidated us more than anything. But Baylor was a close game. We lost by like 14 or 16. But man, they strapped in for defense. They were locked in. It was a low-scoring game. But man, they defend more than anything. I was more impressed with the defense than their offense. Of course, they had like 8 guys that could shoot 40% from 3. But dude, man, that defense is insane. And you saw that in the national championship. That was a blowout. Like the game was over in the first 10 minutes.
They were a great team for sure.
They're aggressive.
I just feel you're man of the people, man of the crowd. Last couple of years have really sucked for everybody, but for young people especially. You missed a full year where you could have been going nuts with the crowd.
Yeah.
It's finally back. Does it feel like is this the dream you dreamed of?
It's more than a dream, to be honest. Man, COVID took so much away. It was insane. It was really bad. I hated it. I was only in the gym and in my room. Like it was so much alone time, and now it's like I'm procrastinating because I'm hanging out so much. Like where you go?
You're making up for time.
Yeah, I'm making up for a lot of lost time. I'm going. I'm going all over campus trying to say hey to people. I ride my scooter. I love the weather right now, so I ride the scooter all over. I love nature as well. I just go on scooter rides. You know what I'm saying? Just hopefully run into somebody that knows who I am and just start a conversation. Because like I like talking. You couldn't tell. But no man, I try to make as many friends as I can because you're only on this earth for a limited amount of time. And I don't want to go. I don't want to look back in life and be like, damn, I wish I would have did this. Wish I would have did that. So now I'm trying to, be smart about decisions, of course, but also enjoy the show.
It's very wise, man. It goes. Your time here goes so fast. I think everybody who's been at Auburn would tell you that.
Yeah.
Just as a normal student, let alone doing all like y'all are so busy and locked in all the time. The time flies. But it really seems like you make the most of those opportunities, and you've got to be like near the top of the campus favorite people on campus list. You
Is
know.
it tough to go around campus?
Nah, I mean, not as if I would have imagined. I think some people are just scared to talk to me.
Okay.
That sucks. I'd rather have a conversation than a picture, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
Just talk to people.
yeah, like some people are just shy. Like,
Lucky for
hey, yeah. Some people are just like they're shy. And they don't want to talk to me. They get big time or something. But I'm like, I'm a normal student. Like,
People forget that.
Yeah, I am a kid. I am a kid first. I'm not even a student. I'm a kid first, man. And everybody knows kids talk to any kid they see. So it's just like, just talk to me, man. Like all my classmates, I encourage them to be like, hey, I introduce myself like I'm unknown. I'm like, hey, I'm Dylan Cardwell. Nice to meet you. They're like, oh, we know who you are. I'm like, all right then, man. Let's break the ice already. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like I had the same attitude when I was in college. Like some people are really want to grow up so fast. They want to be a grown up so fast. Oh my god, just like parents live in the suburbs and do whatever. I feel like you're like, no, I'm gonna embrace this while I have it,
Man.
and that's how to live life in my opinion. Embrace every moment. Like you have your freshman year, you have your act like a sophomore, act like a freshman. Don't try to act like something later. You can act like that later, right? This is time to act like this.
You got more years being an adult than you have being a kid. It's true. So it's just like, why would I spend all my kid life trying to be an adult?
It's perfect.
Man, that's deep, man. I love that.
Do you talk to people on Tiger Transit?
Nah, I got a bad boy. My mother Rocky back here.
Hey, look at this. Let's
Yeah,
go.
y'all can't see it.
You got a name for it?
No, I got her name for my car. Her name's Bertha. She's
Bertha!
She's burgundy, so she's Big Bertha with Big Burgundy.
You got any NIL deals coming up?
Yeah, I got bomb hours, and I'm announcing Cameo tomorrow. So
Nice.
my price is gonna be $44. I'm number 44.
Nice.
If someone says I would like a little price, I'll give it to them. I'm not a money chaser. I've been blessed to have money all my life, so it's just like, man.
If you could get NIL, what's a brand that you're like, I love this brand. I want to be part of that brand.
That's a good question, man. That's a really good question. I don't know.
The reason I asked, I used to live in Bermuda, and I like Gosling's Rum a lot. It's based in Bermuda, so I just started posting about it constantly until they gave me free rum. But you have this real opportunity. If you like a video game, if you like Guther's chicken wings, they'll give you free Guthrie chicken wings. You post about it,
It's just bomb hours. Bomb hours is really great. I love bomb hours. Smoothie King. I would love Smoothie King.
Smoothie King, make that happen.
Make it
Get this
happen.
man some shakes.
Get it.
And another broken egg, man. Underrated breakfast spot. I love breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite food in the world.
You ever eat it for dinner?
Breakfast
That's the
for
move
dinner,
sometimes.
yeah.
You gotta eat
Breakfast for dinner, baby.
breakfast for
Another broken egg just closes too early. Man.
Yeah, that's true.
2 p.m. closing time ain't it. If you're out there, another broken egg, call me. It's not closing so early.
Can you tell us any weird stories about this team, maybe in Atlantis or something else, like some funny inside stuff maybe that people don't want to know or don't know?
The walk from the hotel room to the game in Atlantis was stupendous. It was a mile walk.
You missed your scooter.
Yeah, no,
You don't know what to do without a
Have
scooter.
y'all been to Atlantis?
Yeah, actually.
I haven't. You
Yeah,
have.
dude.
It's a big complex. It's a whole island.
Yes, we were in the furthest possible wing. Well, second furthest.
And you're playing in a boardroom, right?
Yeah. It was a half a mile walk to get to the game. Like the dorms to Donahue was closer than our hotel room in the game. We had to walk, and I was like, bro, I should have brought my freaking shoes. I brought slides. My feet were hurting. We didn't get much free time, but I went on the water slide.
You did go on it. Marlene said y'all were so busy playing video games, y'all didn't even go down the slides.
Man, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't grow up with all the money in the world, so this is my first time being out of the country. And man, when they were all sitting in the room playing video games, I'm like, y'all are stupid. Like,
This is an opportunity. I love that you're taking the opportunity.
I only had 3 hours. We were there 5 days. We only had 3 hours to get in the pool. And of course, you know who was the first one there? Me, man. I was in the water park all day.
You could be shirtless there, so of course you were there.
Yeah, I was in the water park all day, man. I wish I could go back and have another day, to be honest. Because I was free. Like, no one goes to the Bahamas for free.
Atlantis, get this man an NIL deal. He wants to go down the slide.
Yeah, Atlantis, you're out there, man. I'll go there every Sunday.
The Devils might bring you up there. They heard they live in St. Bart's or one of those Virgin Islands. Yeah, you look that up?
No, he told me. My girlfriend, her grandfather lives in St. Bart's. So, yeah.
I heard y'all might go to Israel this summer.
Yeah,
Are you excited for that?
I would love to go to Israel.
Is there any other countries? If you could push Bruce to another country, is there another one you want to
I
see?
don't know what the big thing is with Singapore. I don't know what Singapore is, but I heard Singapore was nice. Abu Dhabi, we gotta go there.
Yeah.
I want to go somewhere in Africa, just because Egypt, obviously. I want to go.
You want to see it all?
I want to see the sand dunes, man.
Sounds like we gotta get some trips going.
Hey, sand dudes, if you're listening up, get this man an NIL.
But man, I watched The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Them little speeders on the sand dunes, man. I would love that. If someone could invent a real life
This man likes speeding. He got his scooter and he wants some sand dude speeders.
I like speeding when there's nothing like jet skis, man. Jet skis. They call them jet skis.
On the lake out there.
I love jet skis.
Bruce got a bunch of jet skis to take people on.
We got 3. It was like 65.
What's his house like? You been there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice house.
Yeah.
But back to it, man, jet skis, man.
Jet
skis are where it's at.
The house is whatever. The jet skis are where it's
Yeah,
at.
the house is whatever, man. Jet skis is where it's at, to be honest. Man, I can do a jet ski all day without a problem. I don't like boats, because boats you can't really maneuver all. Yeah. Jet skis, man, you're just a wild spirit, man.
My parents are, I like live the same way, kind of like if I can have an opportunity to do something funny, kind of cool, coming out, do a podcast out here at Toomer's Corner. My mom just like, oh, why are you doing it? Why do you have to do it? Are your parents like, we love that you're taking your shirt off the game? Or they're like, come on, just keep your shirt on.
My
son.
mom is the biggest influence in my life. She's goofy, so I'm goofy.
Okay.
She wants me to enjoy the moment because she's worked so hard to bless me with the moment, to be honest. She just sacrificed so much. I went through with my mom. My dad left my life when I was in 6th grade, so. Man, my mom's just been huge on enjoying the opportunity. She's been enjoying the moment more than me, man. Man, the Bahamas, she was out and about, and I'm like, I can't.
But she came.
Yeah,
That's great.
She traveled the whole freaking island, and I'm in my room and ready for the next game. Like, I couldn't enjoy the Bahamas like a regular person could.
Right.
We only got 3 other out time, like I was saying, so it was just like we couldn't go walking because you didn't really want to walk because you're already doing the walking to the freaking game. So it's just fun now.
That's great that your mom can enjoy it, and it sounds like she's really instilled that in you, and it shows, man. It shows in everything you do, how you carry yourself, and I don't think there's anything that just people as fans love more than just seeing the passion and the energy. And like I said, it's contagious. I really think that is a huge part of this team's success. I know you probably won't brag about yourself, but I think that it carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, I mean, I just know when I just feel when the crowd's dead. It's like, it sucks.
It offends you, right?
It does. It's just like, what are y'all doing? Like,
let's go.
Why is it quiet? Like, that's why my favorite place to play at is Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
Is it so live?
Man, it was crazy, wasn't it? Freak. Oh my goodness, that was the loudest thing I've ever heard because there was so many people. Right, they were standing the whole game, and it was like you could feel like the hatred in the arena. Right. It was my favorite place to play at because I wanted to upset them so bad. Like,
you like the reaction.
Yeah, I like
positive, negative. Like you like to get the energy.
Yeah, I just want to know. I just want people to know like they can't beat Auburn. Like no matter 50 years from now, 100 years from now, they'll never be able to beat Auburn. So it's just like we're gonna try to put my foot to the rest of our lives. While I'm here, Auburn's gonna be number 1. Like not even gonna care. As long as I'm in this world, Auburn's number 1.
How does it feel to have other teams storm the court on you? Like, it's almost like a compliment, but it sucks at the same time, right?
It's hilarious. It just feels like I'm a blue blood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I also know what it feels like to be on the other end. Like I was in the Iron Bowl. I was 3-0 in Iron Bowls.
Oh wow.
2013, I was a kick 6. I was the first person. I was like one of the top 10 people to start rushing the field. I came from the Tigers Den.
Yeah.
When he's at the 40-yard line, I was like, oh, he's going to return this. Yeah, so I just ran. There's a big old tunnel to the Tigers Den for the field. I ran out, and like no one told me to stop. I just kept running. And as soon as I got right before I got to like the threshold of getting on the field, he had just crossed the end zone. I'm like,
you're already out there.
Yeah,
how old were you at this point?
6th grade.
Okay,
no way. But you were probably taller than me. I was a senior that year. You were probably already taller than me.
Chris Davis is like 5'1", bro.
He's short. He's short.
Dude in the world.
He's short.
But man,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I stormed that one, and then 17.
And your uncle was out there, right?
Yeah. I was in that field for like 2 hours. My cousins got lost. We all got lost. And then 19, that was my recruiting visit. It wasn't like a recruiting visit. I didn't want to come here. It was unofficial. I only used unofficial to go to the Alabama game, to be honest. I'm not an Auburn fan, basketball-wise, because they weren't really recruiting like that. But now I'm blessed to be here. But no, 2019, I actually got a video.
Yeah, bring it out.
And you better just like when you see this video, you're gonna be like, "Wow, you want to talk about fate?" Man, I got to show you this, man. Hold on.
Yeah, you're good.
It's so cool to see both sports recruiting with each other.
Yeah.
You know, that both sports are like, come to the other one because the other one's just as hype as the other one. You know? Like,
Yeah, people see the football environment and then the basketball, like, I want to go here.
But part of the reason we started this podcast too, you know, another guy came by that just happened to have our podcast. He brought up that we created this podcast. We want something specific for basketball. We want this year feels like there's a specific culture for
This is
basketball.
the Iron Bowl picture.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Look at, that's you, right?
Awesome. Look at that.
Little Caldwell.
Yeah, you can see it in your
Oh,
eyes. He's
man.
still tall already.
Little, look at him.
Yeah.
He's still probably taller than me.
Tall as almost all the
He's
guys.
taller than Wendell, right? Bruce was getting Wendell tonight. He's just MC the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
How's Bruce? You know, Bruce is so great on TV, podcast, on the marketing stuff. Is he a little more hard on y'all in practice, or is he always fun like that?
Man, he's not always. He's more locked in practice, but he's also very lenient. We do him ball over a lot in practice, and he's very lenient. And he lets us get to the next play, lets us move on. But then there's a certain aspect where it's like, all right, y'all doing too much. Now it's time for me to get on y'all and actually like show my authority. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
He's a really great job of balancing it. But this is also
Here we go.
We're seeing Dylan.
19?
I'm sure he's on social media. He's running onto the field with a selfie style right now. He's freaking out, just like you know Dylan Cardwell to do. How old were you on that one?
What?
How old were you on that one?
Senior. And
Senior.
What's crazy is
He's having a great time.
this guy's number 44.
Oh,
Nice.
44.
Yeah, that's fate right there.
That is
He's
cool.
Yeah. How'd you pick that number?
So when I was on committing here, I kept seeing the angel number 444 a lot on my clocks. I was like, what does this even mean? And pretty much just means that God sent an angel to watch over you and stuff like that. And then there's John 4:4. It says, "He who is greater, he who is in you is greater than he who's in the world." So I was like, you know what? If I see 444 4 times today, I'm gonna choose 34. And I saw it 3 times in the next minute. Like not next minute, like next 30 minutes. I saw it everywhere. It was like I was watching like finals reruns. I see it there. I see it on my clock. I see it everywhere. I'm like, all right, 44 it is, man. And it's just a rare number. No one really has. Yeah, no one really has a number.
now.
I don't want like Luka Doncic is 77. Like I want a number that no one has. I don't want number 1. I don't want number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 23. No, I don't want my own number. I want to make my own
Something
imprint.
unique.
So someone tell Mr. Jerry West I'm coming.
You coming for him?
Was he 44?
Yeah, he was only.
Did you look it up one time, like famous 44 numbers?
No, everybody knows Jerry West is 44.
Okay.
Ball players.
Yeah.
Ball player, yeah, maybe not.
Jerry West
He's
is
the
the
logo.
logo.
Yeah, he's
The
the
logo.
logo. So tell him I'm coming, man. I'm coming for his spot. That's 44 in the world. That's what I'm coming for, bro.
That's awesome, man.
Who are you a big fan of? Who you like model your game after?
Man, right now I'm working on my offense behind the scenes, but man,
You can tell. You can tell. We've talked about it. Your touch has gotten so much better.
Kevin Garnett and his face up, and
His uncut gem style. You're gonna be an actor just like him. Actor, NBA player, just like Garnett.
They call me Do It All Deal for a reason. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things.
You said there's no nicknames, but I've heard at least 2 nicknames now.
Yeah, Do It All Deal is my nickname.
Okay.
No one really calls me that. My
It
mom-
will on the podcast from now on. Do it all deals on the podcast, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, I like doing it. I love passing, but no, I love Jokic and Embiid. I just love face up.
Embiid, that might be a good one right there.
Yeah, I just want to be able to, like, I'm working on my shot right now and my dribbling, but like a mix of like Kevin Garnett and Robert Williams.
Oh yeah.
That's he is savage. I love his heart, man.
Dude, were you here when he played? Was that was before you got here?
Before I got here. He's
Sorry,
18.
the years run together when you get a little older.
Yeah.
I remember he came into Auburn Arena, one of the A&M teams that won,
Yep.
and he had a field. He was unreal.
He's big bouncy, man. He's crazy.
It's up there.
Yeah.
doesn't it?
You know, Bruce lets everybody shoot. And like Kessler shooting threes now.
Yeah.
Are you working on threes? You working
Yeah,
on
I'm
jump
on
shots?
threes, man. I work on my jump shot. I just home shooting, just shoot the ball, and have confidence shooting game. Because I was 1 for a year.
Yeah, that was one of our favorite moments.
Yeah, I was 1 for 1.
Best 3-point shooting percentage.
That was crazy.
in a season in Auburn
I
history.
just threw it up. That was fadeaway. I've never tried to fade in my life.
It was incredible. It was incredible. Like it was the end of the second half or first half, right?
It was in the second half, I think. And we were playing Mississippi State last game of the season last year. And it was funny to go out 100%.
Right, exactly.
That was hilarious.
You're our knockdown shooter, you know.
Yeah, man. Now it's 50%. So
Yeah. There was one earlier.
yeah, I'm still up there. I played upside of the backboard, but still up there.
Well, and we've talked a lot about, you're obviously, you're playing every game, you're playing your rotations, but look, Walk's been great. He's been a great player, so you're not getting, a ton of minutes, but man, when you're in there, you're top 5 in the SEC in blocks per game. At the amount of time you're on the floor, you're productive, you're scoring
You're still
consistently.
top 5 in this. We bring it up
We look at it every game.
single podcast because we're keeping track of blockers, number 1 in the nation stuff. And I go in there every single time we go to your stats. I go, let me check where he's in the SEC. Number 5 or number 4 in the SEC with such limited minutes, 10 to 15 minutes a game, maybe less than that, and you're still top 5 in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all good to God, man. I can't lie to you. Like, at first, it was a little discouraging, not seeing that many minutes.
Sure.
And then my girlfriend's mom just told me to be grateful. Just approach stuff with gratitude. And when I started playing with gratitude in January, I became a better player. When I was like, I'm on the number 1 team in the nation. No one gets to play on the number 1 team in the nation. Like, I could be a player not playing on the worst team in the nation, but instead I'm playing a little bit on the number 1 team in the nation. So I just approach the game with gratitude, and that's why I take the opportunity to get it, man. And it's just a blessing.
What about Tuscaloosa? I mean, Walker gets in foul trouble. You're on the floor the whole time. You're on the floor. Crunch time at the end. You help. I know y'all had a lot of fun with those Alabama games this year.
Yeah, that's my favorite game.
Yeah,
just sticking it to the man.
Yep.
He gets us, people. He's
one of us. He's one of us.
Man, they were talking so much trash, and I forgot the guy that would do the pass with the helmet dude. I wish he was there because last year he was on our tail. I wish that guy was there, but no, man.
He's died, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He passed.
Yeah.
But man, if he was there, man, I would run right to him and be like, yeah, you
Hey, tell us. Have we not asked about the crane kicks yet?
Yeah,
was that playing beforehand?
Yeah.
Did y'all talk about it as a team? Like, man, we go off for crane kicking.
Me and Jabari joked about it. Katie, we all joked about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Soon we gotta be able to win the game first.
Right.
We're not gonna do it at halftime, like ooh, and then next thing in the crowd. That's the worst thing to do is give Alabama momentum, no matter what sport.
That's true.
Like when we need the ball on the Iron Bowl with 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter, man, they got louder than us. They had one section. So I'm like, that's the worst thing you want to do is give Alabama, give them momentum.
Keep your head down.
Exactly. Literally, until the game's over, do not celebrate.
But y'all were ready right when it got to zeros.
Yeah.
There were three
That
of y'all.
picture of all 3 of y'all on the court is crazy. What did you think about Bruce doing it at home?
Oh,
Did you see that coming? Did you think he was going to do it?
No, because he's a very smart man when it comes to the media. Yeah.
You don't want to give them
He didn't want to piss him off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, he wants to stay humble. He doesn't want to talk about it like that in a negative light, and he just took it and ran with it. I'm like, goodness, and he's hopping on one leg. But no, back to the Alabama game, man, it felt great because when they made the run, people think there were these 4 girls. I remember them on the baseline, right behind the basket. They must have been athletes or something. They started doing cranky, started laughing. We were only up 2 or something. I'm like, oh man, this game is over.
A 14-0 run, yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? As soon as the buzzer hit, I turned right to them. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
But you had a huge block, right? You blocked a three-pointer or something there at the end.
Game. I think it was like a game-saving block.
Yeah.
I just like making history, man.
That's y'all's thing.
Yep.
Y'all doing it. And you're creating a culture. That's what we were talking about before you showed up, that it's not just the winning in the rings and things like that. Like, we have a culture now in Auburn basketball that we didn't have before. We have our own jokes and our own crane kicks and our own, things to talk about, our own legends,
We're everything's cool, man. We're going down history. That's
right. It's weird with all these transfers, different things. Like, these teams can kind of just appear. You don't build teams over, a 4-year period or whatever. But it feels like you're the future. You and maybe a couple of these other guys, but it feels like you're going to be here 3 or 4 years to build on this stuff. Like, what are you looking to, how are you pushing this team for? Are you helping with recruiting? How do you do that in a time where everybody changes so often?
Just keeping it short and simple, man. We're going to be pushing P.
Pushing P, baby.
We're not letting y'all in on the juice.
I got you.
We got to ask, though.
Yeah, we're going to be pushing P we're going to push P for eons, man.
What are we doing?
I'm pushing P for eons.
Pushing P.
We're going to do our thing and just continue to build momentum. We're in the tournament. I'm excited for the tournament. I'm excited for the gifts.
Yeah.
I heard every round you get a better gift.
I heard that too.
Anthony McLemore came on.
That's right. Y'all haven't gotten to do it yet because of COVID. And then
everybody was like, we got. I remember I'm sure Grant Williams said they got like a Apple Watch or a TV or we can choose.
Anthony McLemore said he got a recliner in the Final Four. A whole lazy boy recliner.
I'm sitting here. I'm a business finance major, so I'm gonna make the most smartest decision of my life. I don't like AirPods. I hate AirPods because they're so small and little. I don't have AirPods. I got
little for you for sure.
Yeah, I got Beats, man. I love Beats because they cut everything off, and everybody grew up loving Beats. Yeah. But nah, man. If they offer me AirPods, I'm like, y'all can take that. I want the Ferrari over there.
Give me something else.
Ferrari, you think they give you here's your choice, AirPods or Ferrari? And then everybody else is choosing AirPods, but Dylan Cardwell is going to take the Ferrari.
Yeah. Teach a man how to fish.
You might get a recliner. You never know.
Nah, I hate furniture.
So this is what you're playing for. You know, you're like, oh, I don't know if we want to win. Hey, but they got a recliner next round. I'm going in. They got Ferrari next round.
Yeah, literally, they got. What's a good gift they could give? I'm not very materialistic. Like,
Well, I asked you if you had any brands you like, you know, that you start shouting it out as a player these days, and you could probably get it.
I'm not materialistic like that. So I just don't know what like they could give me. I'm like, oh my gosh, because
Like you said, it's nice when you achieve, you get to these certain
yeah,
peaks and you kind of get treated well, hopefully, kind of like the trip. And
yeah, I just
stuff
want
like
the gear.
that.
That's
Swag, yeah.
I want see that. I want
Merged
this.
out.
Yeah, I want.
How did you get the net here? You would think someone would have stopped you and said, like,
Yeah.
no, we need it from a museum.
Yeah, so
They're gonna get it from you later, aren't they?
yeah, they're not.
They're not? All right.
I'm putting my foot down. BP actually threw it to me.
Yeah, I saw that. He threw it to you.
But yeah, so Jabari Smith, smartest man in the world, got the other net. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not think about that?
Well, you were having to get interviewed. I could tell you were like, I got to get over there to get my net.
Yeah, everybody kept telling me to sign their board. I was like, at first it was cool, it was lovely, and then people started getting bored. And I'm like, you didn't have a board 10 minutes ago. How did you get one?
Right.
They just kept on coming. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be here all day if I don't if I don't hurry up and move.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I hate passing people up, but like if I have to go get me a net, I gotta get me
Once
a
in a
net.
lifetime. Right?
Yeah.
Hopefully not once. Hopefully we get some more.
Yeah, I'm like,
You got 3 more opportunities to get nets now, or 2 more at least.
Well, you got the
Two
SEC.
more.
You get.
Oh, yes, 3
Final
more.
Four.
And
And
it usually comes down
yeah.
when you go to the Final Four.
Yeah.
When you win the region.
We're not gonna take time to those nets. We're ready for the next nets. We're not gonna celebrate Final Four like that.
That's right. You got to go one.
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah, enjoy it. But we're not done. We're not satisfied with this SEC championship. Our journey doesn't stop here. Our journey is we'll keep marching. Get it? Because we're marching.
Oh, he clever. He
Undefeated
clever.
in March.
Yeah.
You come up with that?
No, I don't know. It just popped up. I got a lot of smart stuff going on up here. I'm a creative genius.
Yeah. He's a crazy genius, creative genius, stable genius. He's all the genius
Do
types.
it all deal, man.
We're gonna use that for sure.
Yeah, stamp that. Please get that going.
You start branding. You can make T-shirts. Bounce Man's got T-shirts. I think
Yeah.
Wyndham might have T-shirts. Maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know my logo.
You're the businessman, right?
I'm the businessman. I've been thinking about ideas for shirts. Like, what would a good idea be? Like, that's a good question.
You got red
What
going
if we
on
do
right
the red
now.
thing? Yeah, the rebound energy defense. That's kind of
Some Super Saiyan stuff.
I could do that, like a yelling thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to do something with the jumbotron. I'm like, no one wants to have a shirtless picture of me on that freaking shirt.
I think a decent amount of people probably would actually.
I'll probably get like a picture and then have like a little crap, right, Dylan Cardwell's abs. And I've had so many people tell me look at my shirt for a picture. I'm just like, no, thank you.
It's a brand now. Yeah, you got to control your brand, right?
Yeah, man. But I don't know. I'm just gonna probably pray about it and just see what's happening next. Like I said, I'm not really in it for the money. I'm just in it for the opportunity. I don't have memories than money.
Absolutely.
Any day.
I think our generations we're a good bit older than you, but just I think we get that a little more than maybe past generations do. Like it's about you, like you said, your time is limited, and you don't forget. Like it's stuff that you can't buy. Like what you just experienced today in Auburn Arena, you can't pay for that.
I don't know. The Nevils did cut a piece of that
They
net
did
off.
get to
Oh my
cut.
God.
They did get to cut some net. So.
Yeah.
I guess it's gonna cost you a good shiny.
It might take a lot.
We're not
You're right.
rolling in that kind of coin right now. So
That is hilarious. But yeah, like
They got a jersey and everything now. They got 22. I think that's the 22 million they gave, right?
yeah, too much. But yeah, I mean, even with that, I mean, it's just knowing your hard work paid off. Knowing that those 6 a.m.s, man, those late nights, those all the crying and all the sweat and tears, man. It's just you know work. You just know like you're going through pain for a reason. Pain has its purpose. You can't get anywhere in life if you're not having if you're not struggling.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure the Neville's
If you get it easy, it's not worth it, is it? It doesn't feel right.
It's not worth it at all unless the lottery. Unless the lottery wants to give me $1 billion, I will thank you, Mr. Lottery. But other than that, I mean, man, nothing in life is fun if it's just given to you. And that's something I just learned over the past couple of years. Like even chasing the NBA, I got to work for it. Sometimes it's given to me, and I just can't wait for the day it pays off because I'll be crying like a mother, man.
You got an NBA team you like? You a fan of any of them in particular?
Any NBA team, if you're watching this draft, please.
Yeah. NIL.
He supports all of you,
Yeah,
all the teams. It is amazing though that level of play.
Yeah, it's just a blessing to even play. Like people get there and just shoot having fun. Man. Like I just can't imagine hooping all day. That sounds lovely.
as a career.
Like, and then they're probably like, they got crazy families too.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be friends with them too. Like, shit, they make memes every 3 seconds. I'm gonna live on Bleacher Report.
You ever talk to any of the players that have gone to the NBA, Isaac or Chuma or any of those?
I've talked to Isaac a lot. Isaac and I are actually pretty close. That's my guy. Played with Sharif and Isaac growing up. Not really Isaac, but he's around.
You were on the same team as Sharif, right? Yeah.
Isaac was just around. He used to come back. He used to play 2-on-2 with me and Sharif and Stretch. Almost every other weekend, he'd come back from Auburn and play a 2-on-2. That's to get bust. Me and Sharif are that duo, man. I'm letting y'all know right now.
We missed Sharif a little bit. We hate that what happened last season. That season could have gone a completely different direction.
If there was no COVID and we had Sharif, we'd be a top 4 team last year. No COVID, like if we had our fans and we had Sharif and we had JP at the same time, top 14 in the SEC. Top 14 in the SEC.
Can you let us in on any secrets about what happened with JP?
That was my roommate. I had no idea he was leaving.
Really? Was that even as your roommate?
Yeah, we were both like kind of antisocial last year. Like, we just stayed in the room. Like,
it's tough on people, right?
Yeah, it really is. And then I think it's just him getting hurt was the worst thing that ever happened to him.
Made him even more isolated.
Yeah, because he couldn't go outside. Like, he had a thing. He had to wear glasses outside because he was like the concussion messed him up so bad to where his vision was messed up by the sunlight and stuff. So he had to sit in a dark room for like 3 months. It was just like he was supposed to get better. Like when his neck started hurting and stuff. I felt so bad for him. So we thought he was coming back after spring break, and then spring break. Not spring break. I think it was a break we had in March last year. We just left. I think it wasn't actually spring break because this is March 2nd. He left March 2nd. So I had no idea he was leaving.
Talk to him after the Tennessee game or anything?
I just said what's up. Not really. I text happy birthday and stuff like that. Other than that, really text too much. Yeah, I miss him though.
It's tough, these transfer rules and everything. You used to have 4 years with a guy you were signing up for, and now anything can happen. I mean, 3 or 4 guys on this team you didn't even know before the season started.
Yeah, it's just, man, I'm a fan of the transfer rule, to be honest.
Me too.
It gives a lot of guys opportunities they never get. You got those guys coming from those mid-majors like Wynn, Zep, and then like other guys we benefited from it too. Like those I'm a fan of mid-majors getting to the high major.
Right.
I love seeing people come up. I love seeing people. There's a guy, I forgot his name. He played for Georgia last year, like Core or something. So it's let's start with K. But he came from some small mid-major, went to Georgia, and now he's starting for Arizona.
Wow.
It's like goodness gracious.
Like, he's moving all over the world.
Yeah, but like he went from nothing to the number 2 team in the nation. So I love seeing people be upgraded and promoted in life. Like no matter what.
You think in a different world, you wait a little longer on Auburn, and they overtook somebody else for some reason or whatever, and you're looking to transfer this year, kind of stuff.
Is that what?
Do you think you might be transferring if you didn't make it in Auburn the way you thought you did?
No, I love Auburn.
Yeah. Not transferring. I'm talking about if you had before freshman year, and you had to wait a little bit to get that offer from Auburn, you might would have went to.
You said you like Georgia and Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Tennessee, Georgia. My mom loved Rocky Top, so I don't get what her thing about it is. Like, there's a bajillion of songs better than Rocky Top.
They played a lot. They played it a lot last week.
You might be irritated by the time if you stuck in the helm there too long. Yeah.
I was up there with y'all in Knoxville. I live in Nashville, so I just drove over. And, they played a lot when they win, that's for sure.
Yeah,
they're a good team. I mean, obviously Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, you guys have kind of established yourself as the top 4 this year. Anything stand out from those 3 teams? Because I think most people think those 4 could really do some damage in March.
Really. Physicality of Tennessee and Kentucky.
That was a physical game, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it was, but just those 2 teams are just very physical. Yeah, I like playing. South Carolina's probably the most physical though.
They are.
And they got some bad boys. 55, 33. Them strong dudes.
We were watching that.
They never back down either. Even today,
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin, yeah. He might be the first guy to recruit me in 8th grade.
You would have fit in pretty well with the Frank Martin team, I think. They hustle so hard and fight so hard for everything.
Too hard. It's like, bro, y'all down 17. Relax. Like, y'all down 17, and like it's just like.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like basketball, does it? Like, are they even playing the same sport?
Yeah. 55. I appreciate you, but you're playing physical, but you're not playing dirty. That's the worst thing in the world. So someone's playing hard and playing dirty, it sucks. But man, 55, I don't know his name, but I said, bro, I love how you play, like physicality wise. Because some people just
what's he doing next year? You coming to play for Auburn? Is that how it is these days, though? Like, he could just be like,
I don't recruit nobody. Man. I just mind my business.
March, man. It goes so late now. It's
Yeah.
not just March. You got to win all like that Final Four team went undefeated in March. You got to go undefeated pretty much to make your dreams happen.
Yeah, we're going undefeated the rest of the year, dude.
Hey, all
We're
right.
here for it.
Yeah, we got to win like what 10 or 9 more games.
Nine.
Yeah, so 9 the last time we won 17 in a row.
That's true, y'all do.
I'm a big member of the New York City Auburn Club. It's pretty interesting that like you guys down here in Auburn, doing your thing, but people all around the country are like tuning in, getting together with their friends and family, and like
Crazy.
having bonding moments. Like it's kind of crazy. You joined in on this insane like network that's really like a family. If you move anywhere you want after this, you will forever have people like with your back.
Yeah, and that's what my biggest thing was with choosing school. It's like I wanted a 40-year school, not a 4-year school.
Nice.
And that's what's here. And I don't know if I'm going anywhere in Auburn and be recognized and be like, oh my gosh, I love you. And I'm like, you know what? I love you too, man. I love everybody who's here because they take care of me and they just treat me like I'm one of them because I am. And you wouldn't find it anywhere else. Other fan bases are not as blessed to have things that we have. And so I just appreciate everybody.
There's like their fan bases are just kind of fan bases. They're networking. They kind of thing like that. Where if you can give me a job or something like that. Auburn, like when I went to New York, like I didn't know anybody hardly, and the Auburn family kind of like gave me a place to be, place to go, people to know, people that would like embrace me and help me out at any moment, just all because I went to Auburn with them. People understand that kind of like, in the state it's probably 80% Alabama fans and 20% people understand you got to have a real connection and you got to want to be an Auburn fan. It's not easy.
It's not easy, man.
Y'all are making it a little easier though on basketball.
Y'all are making it pretty easy.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to come back whenever you get off, to the league or whatever. I think you're gonna have a permanent spot in the jungle that you can just come back to and party for a few years.
I need a jungle statue.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can. Charles Barkley's got one. There's somebody's got one already.
But I actually hope I have a great enough NBA career to try to get a statue. That'd be amazing. That'd be a blessing, man. I wanna have my jersey retired, man. I wanna do a lot. I wanna do a lot more than the average NBA player, average basketball player.
Yeah.
Man, if I could just get a statue, I'd just
be pretty cool.
Really dope. I'd sign it. It's probably fade away.
He's still coming back.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign it at the same spot. I just don't know where to put it.
Yeah.
But man,
you already dreamed about where placement already.
Yeah, I've scoped out some spots.
Yeah.
But I just think it into existence, and just keep working. That's something I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Just being a cornerstone.
Have you talked to Charles Barkley before?
Actually, he's Ronnie's second cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I heard that.
Related.
I thought I heard that.
Family tree. I'm like related to Charles Barkley.
Family's a little more family than we thought, right? Yeah. People forgot Dylan's a Georgia boy.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you feel about that Atlanta connection? It feels like there's that real Atlanta connection in Auburn.
Yeah, I can talk about the Alabama strong.
Well, Alabama has Mississippi jokes. People who grew up in Alabama make Mississippi jokes or Arkansas jokes.
I've never heard anybody about Georgia because Georgia's the best state in the world.
Well, I got a theory that it's because there's Atlanta in Georgia, New Orleans in Louisiana, Nashville, Tennessee. There's not a big city in Alabama, so people don't come here on business. People, it's like it's easy, that place you've never been. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No,
War Eagle.
This
was really cool, man.
Yeah. And if I say anything to anybody, I apologize.
Nah, I don't apologize for nothing.
You're great.
Go have some fun.
Yeah.
Hang out with some people.
I think I'm all burned out now.
Did we just
think I can get a real quick picture with the net on? You think? Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
You want it?
Yeah, I want to wear it. Yeah.
Oh my God. You shouldn't have said. You should not let him do that.
Yeah, we'll take a selfie. Yeah, man. Thank you, War Eagle, man. It was a good time.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate you.
Well, we just had Dylan Cardwell on the podcast. Matt wasn't sure if we should podcast outside or not, or what we should do.
I was wrong.
We had a pretty good time, but the format is out the window at this point of the podcast.
Well, okay, and I think, man, the battery's doing great. So 40%, we're in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk through the box score a little bit longer here, I guess.
I was just going to point out that Auburn won shooting at all three levels. Field goal, 3-point, free throws, which is a great sign. You remember when we were shooting in the 20s on from three, not in the last few games. That's a good sign. Other than Tennessee, we did. Rebounding, you mentioned we lost by 1. Turnovers, 1 by 2. So fairly close. 14 is.
You got to win like 2 out of the 3, right? Turnovers, rebounds. What's the other one? blanking right now. 3-point%.
Yeah, I always think about rebounding turnovers with this team. We still got to look at the rebounding thing and kind of keep it going.
Yeah.
Keep going a little better direction.
We can go down the list a little bit here. We talk
Yeah.
about Walker. We talk about Jabari, how amazing he is. Let's skip over one and go to KD Johnson real quick. The energy. It's cool that Caldwell got it too. That energy, he just knows when to pounce on these teams when there's a lull in the crowd, or KD knows when to drive that ball, when to hit that shot. We talked about the three. It's been really interesting to see him not do so hot on the catching immediately and shooting as much as we want him to. So just keep dribbling and shooting the three. Like, clearly that's his move. Yeah.
Right. I just love how quiet. I love how quiet the 18 was. I love how he's attacking. He got out on fast break and finished some layups, which was nice to see. I thought he had a couple nice mid-range shots. He kind of saw a little bit of everything. And again, his defense is just so solid now. He's really settled into his rotation, and he's still getting a couple steals a game. But it's maybe not 4 steals a game, but he's not giving up.
He got his hamburger moment. I wanted my check marks. The Cambridge Alley, the Wendell Green logo, which we haven't seen the Wendell Green logo in a while, honestly. We've seen the alley-oops, and a Hamburglar moment. We got Hamburglar. We still got some March Madness stuff to do and some SEC championship stuff to do, so I got time for it. We got Zep. Zep, man, he hit another 3. He's just been so efficient from the 3. He should shoot more, honestly. And it's good that he's not selfish and he gets that ball around. But I think we can work something too. We saw today the guards. We thought maybe Zep would be the point guard with Wendell being the 2 guy when they're both in. It was the opposite. Wendell was the point guard and Zep was on the other side. I don't like it. I'd rather have Zep be the point guard because he stirs the drink.
Both.
He gets the ball moving a little more with Wendell. You don't have to worry about not getting that first pass like you do with Wendell. Right. And I think it might be good for Wendell to kind of have something going in motion other than actually having to get that pass through, No,
I think it's a great point. The thing I loved was Zep took it was a wide open shot in rhythm, didn't wait, didn't overthink it, hit it. He also that was a huge point in the game. It was a 9-point game. He defended a 3 in transition incredibly well. Then he came back, and I think he had an and one. He had something big, so he had 6 straight points, I think. Zep did, and that was really big in the second half. He's settling in. It feels like to a part of the offensive rhythm, and just being confident is the biggest thing. Bruce always has confident shooters, and it feels like at times this year we haven't had that.
We had a really good just team effort overall. There wasn't that one guy that was such a big thing, And Zep's part of that. I know that Zep's kind of contributing in that way. He kind of makes it I guess we've gotten used to these 4 guys
right.
Kessler, Jabari, KD, and Wendell.
Yep.
Are the guys that are going to score. So when Zep contributes, it's a big deal. And when you have 6 points coming from Cardwell, it's a big deal. It just makes it all of a sudden go from a game that we kind of expected from our usual guys to a whole team game.
Right.
At least on offense.
Yeah. No, it's found point.
See you, Dylan.
See you, Dylan, man. Appreciate you.
Stay safe on that scooter. We need you for a little longer, He's cruising. Who's next on our list?
Yeah.
Chris Moore got to play some minutes, man. That was really cool, and I really think it's a great plan. And he's an athlete. I think hopefully Chris Moore sticks around, and we get a lot more minutes out of him. And hopefully this keeps him a little happy. He's a beast. You got to unleash him.
Well, great to see him out there. You saw him immediately impact.
There you go. It's weird to talk about the team when there's a player in earshot.
It is.
It's easy to say you're going to be a little aggressive about your opinions or whatever until you have a player close, and then all of a sudden you're like, everybody's great, everybody's nice, I love everybody love everybody.
Chris Moore, forced a turnover. I thought he had a couple of rebounds. He's all over the place. You saw his energy. He's in the right place. He knows what to do. Again, as a 10th guy, he's just fantastic. And honestly, I think it flowed fine to play those 3. Him and Cambridge and Clinton. So great to see him out there. I'm glad and if you watch him, he is kind of like Dylan. He's one of the emotional leaders of this team. For a guy that's not playing, he's been engaged. I think he's an older player, right? Is he a sophomore or a junior?
Sophomore, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the COVID stuff's merged everything together.
Seems like another very mature kid that really has not sulked about the lack of playing time. And I thought Dylan was very honest about, it's kind of hard. Walker comes in and you maybe think it's going to be a 50-50 split, and then Walker just takes off and plays such a high level.
Yeah,
it's hard on your psyche as a player.
I mean, it's interesting to say it was hard too, because I kind of expected I don't know, we expect these guys, we knew Dylan was a guy that was borderline almost going to walk on maybe or something like that, and he comes in and he's projecting exactly how we want him to. He played some minutes his freshman year and wasn't the most solidly handed guy, but he played good defensively. And this year his touch is a little better, and he's getting to play behind this really great guy, giving I think Cardwell would want to play more. I think it's a good thing he's kind of learning behind Kessler, not
Oh, yeah.
being pushed into
Oh, yeah.
positions that are not like he's not ready for yet. And so it's like interesting to hear him like be like, oh, I kind of wish I'd play more. Like, I don't know, it seems perfect situation for me. But you forget these guys have the confidence and the like they want to have the ball, they want to play the game, they believe they can be great right now, and like you have to have that attitude to eventually get there.
I lost where we are. Chris Moore. But you're right.
We've had such a good time out here, man. We are celebrating. We have gotten Derek Hall and Dylan Cardwell just passing by in the podcast. In a fan. We will have, hopefully, maybe we'll have more. Like, the battery on this laptop was supposed to only go like an hour. We're an hour and 30 minutes in. I don't care. We're having a great time. The weather is beautiful.
Perfect day in Auburn.
Like, oh my goodness. Like, all right, we'll keep going, though. I know we're supposed to talk about the sport, but holy crap. Jalen Williams, very quiet night, but he did hit a three, which is a big deal, and it changes his game altogether. You know, we talked about that much, so yeah.
How many minutes did he play?
Man, he didn't play a lot. 10 actually.
10, so
Felt like less than that even. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just not getting time.
Did we have lineups where Jabari and Jalen were out? It felt like it. I just don't remember Jalen playing that much.
He did. 3 points, 2 rebounds?
Yeah. We usually have our little box score up here. We've changed that up for you guys so you can see Toomer's corner background. This is not a Zoom background.
Yeah,
this is a real
life.
This is real. I can pick up the toilet paper. It's a whole thing. Yeah, we talked about Jalen. We talked about Dylan with Dylan. Pretty interesting. Guys, other players, come on. We'll talk about your stats. We'll be really nice about you the entire time. Devin Cambridge, 13 minutes, 0 points, 2 assists, but 4 rebounds. He's figured out his role. You know, his shot's funky, but he's shooting less. We realized in the last week that both him and Allen are shooting, I think Allen's shooting 20% from 3 in SEC, and Cambridge were shooting 18% from 3 in SEC. Just not good. I mean, we talked about it all through the year. There's been like this reputation because Devin hit a bunch of threes in like one game like 2 years ago that he's some sort of like 3 guy that's going to get hot or whatever. I don't know. He's figured it out at least, you know, like.
Yeah. Again, and I saw an interview with him this week where Devin was just talking about he thinks he's matured in knowing his role and just defending hard. And I really do. I'm going to keep saying it. And it's not just lip service. Flanagan and Cambridge are playing well defensively. That's what we're getting from the 3 spot right now. They're long, they're athletic, and most teams have a really good wing that they're guarding. And he only shot once. You know, it was a 3 that was open, I believe, or fairly open. So
he was like shot 6 the other night, and it was you can't shoot 6. It's tough to ask him to pass up any open threes.
Right, when you're
so
open.
All you can ask, you gotta tell him, if you're gonna tell him something or whatever, is that only shoot open threes. Don't shoot these like catch. There's some that if KD got that catch or if Wendell got that catch, yes, shoot it. It's like as open as you're gonna get. But if you're shooting below 20% from 3 right now, like I mean, that's shooting below what Kessler's shooting, and the centers are shooting pass the ball, drive it. Like I would be like, I know we've talked about he's not going to be great jar, but drive it. I don't know. Flanagan on the other end, I don't know.
Is he next?
We have to go back to Flanagan. Honestly, I wanted to talk about him when there wasn't another player in his shot because I love Alan Flanagan, but it's brutal out there right now. I mean, he's playing some good defense. We're like looking like it's the issue is that we're looking for silver linings with him right now, and that's the issue. And he was supposed to be a guy, in my head especially, and in the media, that was going to be a guy that's going to come in and do a certain thing for us and be an all SEC kind of player. He had 2 turnovers, but man, if those were the only 2 that I'm thinking of, they're back to back, and it was brutal.
Late in the game when South Carolina was making
and he just keeps getting in trouble, man. I don't know. We've talked about it a bunch already in several podcasts now, but he's a step slow or something. Like at least he didn't we've had our things with him, the catching a charge and airballing. He's not doing those, but he's finding other ways to turn the ball over in like weird ways. I don't like.
We're overlooking. The 4 rebounds is big. I thought he was physical. I remember multiple times I was saying
we need somebody in his position.
He hit a 3 to open the game.
Yeah, true. I was excited.
3 for 4 at the line. So he did some good things tonight. But you're right. It is honestly kind of offensive for us that we're looking for those things that are so small when we know kind of what he is as a player. So you just have to hope that Bruce kind of figures out some things with the 3 position, and that they keep doing the things well that they can do. And at this point, I think we know, but you never know. Is there a game where he scores double digits in the tournament?
He had one. He had one this year at least, you know. So I don't know. If he's shooting, I don't know. I don't want him to push anymore. I don't want to push. Like I want to push.
You don't want him driving?
I want to push and pee. I won't drive. I'm done with him driving, honestly.
Okay.
Like that's what I thought was gonna be his thing. Was he's gonna go get his tough 2 points?
Tough twos,
He
yeah.
can't do it without turning the ball over like the majority of the time. It's not just missing layups. It's straight up turnovers and fouls and frustration. He's clearly frustrated at times. Like it's just he's got to slow down. He's got to go back to whatever Chris Moore and Cambridge think they are to this team. That's what you are now too. Like
And he said that in his interview after when they were celebrating. He just said he's tried to adjust and play his role on this team, and his role on this team is going to be different than any of his 4 years, most likely.
Yeah, he's got everything in front of him.
Yep.
He's still got another year or two actually with the COVID year now of eligibility, and he did not come in as some guy we thought was going to be 5-star, going straight to the NBA or whatever. Like he's on a number one team right now. I know it's frustrating because he expected to come in and be a leader and all that. It's really like got your hopes up and now they're dashed kind of thing. But he's still got. We're going to need him next year. This team can be really good. All you really need to add is another center back or a power forward or whatever, and this team can also be really good, and it can be his team. So keep a level head, be cool. We're pretty much done with the players. I mean, I guess we talk about Wendell Green some more if you want to talk about 10 points, 7 assists.
Just 0 turnovers for me is the key for him. We've always talked about him being in high up. His ceiling is so high when he plays well, right?
Yeah.
But his floor, he just tends to make a few more mistakes because he always has the ball in his hands. He has a lot of responsibility. But man, he was pretty flawless tonight. I mean, missed a couple shots, but thought he played really well.
He got abused on defense for sure, and that's why he ended up with 4 fouls. So something to watch if people start getting fouls on him, or what you end up wanting him to do. Because in fact, there was once or twice that Matt was like, "That's just a good foul." Like there was a fast break one where just get the foul, and it went to 1 point instead of 2, so that's good. There was that frustration, almost like where the guy drove on him, and he had the old smack talking everything, where he fouled that guy really hard because he was getting really pushed under.
It wasn't a foul. So. Yeah, in his mind, you're trying to stay in front of a guy, and a bigger guy than you is just running right down your chest, and then he started talking to Wendell after that. And what foul got called on Wendell, so he's frustrated about that. The guy talks to him about it, says something as he turns around. So, yeah, I mean, I just think that
it's like when you take those fouls, so it's just like.
But that's a function of South Carolina. I really think they didn't have much going offensively, and they said we're just going to drive downhill at their guards and see if they can stop.
They're going to keep doing that though. People are going to keep trying to get on the right. They've been trying for 3/4 of the year now.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't think it hurts us that bad. I think our guards are up for it, but I think that's what other teams are going to try to do.
It was cool to get a bunch of the walk-ons in. They're on the stat sheet and stuff, but not any other players that we really need to run down. Just amazing to have one last game with Walker and Jabari in Auburn uniforms in Auburn Arena. We'll never see another guy like Jabari again, in our lifetime probably. So
no, I've never
he's
seen
such a freak.
I've never seen a shooter like him as a freshman that I can remember in college basketball. I mean,
the combo of the shooting and the size he shoots at, and the way he's done it with ISO ball. It's just insane. We might see some other sharpshooters and everything, but the ISO, in-your-face stuff is just insane.
There's no defense for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no defense for him rising up over you and shooting. And even if it's amazing to see in person. It's the second time I've seen it. When he gets raked on the arm and goes through contact, he has time to gather and swish a three. It's just it's pro stuff. I mean, it's a pro move. And you're right. Just seeing him in person here at home is great. Seeing Kessler, the same thing. I hate that he's kind of banged up, but these great players. I mean, I thought being in person, it maybe wasn't peak Flying Tigers like we saw a couple months ago, but man, I thought we made a lot of really good plays. It looked like they were having a ton of fun.
You hope it's not just a home arena thing.
That
we, if we could have combined that with what we were doing in the first half of Mississippi State game, if we could have done that second half and then done this at home, it would have felt, all right, we're turning the corner. We just went through some really hard teams away. And that's just how it is. But we're getting back. But now, it's going to be 50-50. We're just seeing that first SEC tournament game, if this is real or not.
Well, we got to see the neutral site thing, right? I mean, we saw it in Atlantis, which is kind of a weird thing. We played pretty well. It'll be interesting to see how we do there. And I think the thing to keep in mind is, South Carolina's won 5 of 6. They are a better team than I think our crowd respected them for. And I think you saw that. They made it a game there at the end. And I think it says a lot about our team to be up 17 at halftime, though. That's hard to do against anybody. I mean, we've kind of taken it for granted. Sometimes we get out to these big leads, but it's hard to do against a potential almost bubble team like South Carolina.
Well, you want to look at some around the SEC stuff and get us ready for the tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was tracking all the games all day. Obviously a lot of scoreboard watching. LSU beat Alabama in overtime, which is going to be big. There's a 5 through 10 in the SEC were separated by one game coming into today. So all the tiebreakers, figuring out who's going to play who in the SEC tournament was happening. So that happened. Tennessee beat Arkansas. They almost blew a 26-point lead. but Tennessee wins, so Arkansas gets knocked down to the 4.
We have to play Arkansas, I think.
So we would be then, just to break it down for people, if the top seeds win out.
Are they all done? Is there theoretically online somewhere the
Go look,
bracket
go
now?
search. It's not done because Mississippi State and A&M are still playing, but I bet the top 4 are done. But anyway, I was going to say, so Arkansas finished 4th, which means that Auburn in a potential semifinal. Now that Auburn secured the 1, Auburn and Arkansas would play on Saturday in a semifinal, and I like that personally because Kentucky and Tennessee are on the other side of the bracket. You won't see them until the final, and they would obviously beat up on each other. One of them would have to beat the other, which I think is good. And then the interesting part is, who does Auburn play? They would play the winner of the 8-9 game in the SEC tournament. Who is that going to be, and who are the 2 teams in that game? There's a lot of candidates, as far as I know, based on the tiebreakers and based on all that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to find the bracket over here.
Bracket won't be fully done yet.
I thought maybe on like 24/7 or on 3 or something might have it up. But I'm having
Live podcasting, people.
Usually we kind of have the internet too on our laptops and stuff. We're having to do all this via our phone, which is a little harder. And I'm like logged in as my old account that got kicked off the thing, so I can't figure it out. I've been kicked off of things.
Jimmy Dykes tweeted.
Oh, Twitter might have it.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking to see if we got.
I don't know why I pay for anything when Twitter seems to have everything.
I don't know. I don't want to waste too much time, but we'll see where the SEC tournament standings come out. I want Kentucky and Tennessee on the other side. I got that wish. I want Alabama on the other side.
John Rothstein says Auburn will be the number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Bruce Pearl is your SEC Coach of the Year. So if it's John Rothstein, then it's official.
He says we're going to be a 1 in the NCAA tournament, which is kind of a bold statement right now. I feel like based on the narratives.
Pablo said, "Thank you, John. Very cool." And congratulations, Pablo, if you ever listen to our podcast, which he's been on for his baby. So, baby.
It's very exciting. Maybe we can close out. I mean, look, I don't know what we'll do. We haven't talked about it.
You never know who's going to pass back by. We might have 2 more hours. Bruce Pearl might walk by and be like, "Hey, fellas."
But maybe we'll, I don't know if we may do a quick preview episode of the SEC tournament when we get closer. It's going to be fun. We're in tournament time now. 27-4.
I'm out here looking for Bruce Pearl. Just make sure he's not walking down the street.
Bruce Pearl's not walking through that door. 27.
You didn't think Dylan Cardwell was going to walk through
27-4, Jackson. 27-4, undefeated at home all year.
Amazing season.
No game closer than 9 points with the final at home. We almost went undefeated in regulation all year.
We hope this sound worked out really well.
If not, this is going to be really sad.
It's going to be sad because we had such a good podcast, and the wind has been blowing, so I hope it's not like blowing straight into this mic and you can't, it's like unhearable or something. But
so we're 8 days from Selection Sunday, so we will know where Auburn ends up. I know geographically, the sites aren't great if you looked ahead.
They're really
Greenville, South Carolina is the only close one in the southeast if you're down here.
None in Florida, none in Georgia, none in Alabama, none in Mississippi, Louisiana's the only one is Final Four, none in Tennessee. Like, it's crazy. None of these in basically what is Greenville? 6 hours, 5 hours from Auburn?
Maybe less than that.
Anyways, it's just nothing usual. Like, what kind of tournaments don't have Nashville, Atlanta, anything in Florida? Like, it's weird.
If we get to New Orleans, obviously that's going to be big for a lot of Auburn fans in the South.
That'll be a cool one if we make it. It's just a big risk.
But you got to get there. You got to get there. So Jackson, Philly's a close one that could be. We could be in the East, Sweet 16.
The New York Auburn Club will be going nuts and be there if
we go to Philly. Yeah. Chicago, I would probably try to go if we go to Chicago for the Sweet 16. It's a Peacock party, man.
Yeah, we didn't bring this
so let's talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah, the Peacock party thing. They gave us. We went to the student section, hung out in the jungle, which was really fun. Got to see Sonny Smith. Got to hang out with Sonny Smith. Got to see Michael. Got to see Matt Plexico. Had a good time. Got to see Wes Flanagan. It was really fun. It was cool that we can see these people and know these people and stuff like that. So thanks for taking pictures and being on our podcast and stuff. And this is a weird connection. I think what happened was we talk about tweeting about peacocking all the time. Peacock this because there's a Peacock app and streaming channel that we all know from NBC. I think they basically went through their Twitter probably and so man, they're killing us, but no one's talking about the Peacock channel. They're all talking about this stupid basketball team in Alabama. So they teamed up with Auburn, and I hope we got some money out of it, like the school did, or the Auburn or something, or some sort of exposure of some sort. But they gave us T-shirts, and they had Meredith from The Office and their new show Bel Air or something come on the thing and be like, "Hey, go win the game," or whatever, and gave us all Peacock signs. So I don't know, it's cool. It's fun to embrace the peacocking and the last game have all this stuff. I don't really know what the real connection with NBC is. It's kind of strange, but You know, they gave us free T-shirts, whatever.
I mean, it's neat. It's cool to see. This was kind of the pinnacle of just this whole year that these students have really created. You know, they've been so good all year. This home court has gotten so much attention. It's just really exciting, man. It was cool to be down there and just see the energy and be a part of it. And really, wasn't it cool to be on floor level with Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler, seeing how tall they are?
There's a video on the social media of like me putting my hand out and Jabari like dunking or whoever was dunking behind it. Yeah. I wish I had a roll of toilet paper. That'd be the perfect way to end this podcast, is to roll the tree like in the background of the video, and we just don't. We didn't plan it for.
Hang on, talk for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, Matt is going on a hunt for a decent roll of toilet paper, like we've all done in Toomer's Corner before. Hey, it's basically cleared out at this point. The weather's just been so perfect, and it's beautiful out here. We miss the old trees. They're a lot smaller than they used to be. They're still not grown up the way they are. Screw Alabama people and screw Alabama fans. I would say a much stronger word, but Matt doesn't like me to cuss on the podcast. Matt's back from the hunt. It's nothing special, but it's something. He's gonna give me the honors. Yeah, give me that pot. There we go. You can.
I'll narrate.
Narrate. There you go.
Always fun to see all the kids and young adults like Jackson.
It's not a Zoom background. We're really here, guys.
He's gonna go throw it. We're gonna judge you for how this goes. Of course, I know it doesn't really count. It's a bad roll. Here he goes. Oh, here you go. Hey. It's pretty awesome. It's been a great scene here, man. Beautiful day, like we mentioned, with the weather. Great game. Maybe the energy could have been a tad higher, but really it was because this team's so good, we were never in doubt. Nobody, I think, ever got super scared that we were going to lose the whole game. 8-0 run to start, and it seemed like from there, Auburn just kind of took care of business.
Let's see if we can give one last view of Sanford Hall and Toomers, and we're going mobile, people. Right here in front of Hargis. There's Sanford Hall right there. You can see the whole Auburn. Beautiful Auburn, everybody. All right, we'll go ahead and sign off. And, man, it's been a fun year. We're going to keep going in the postseason. But, man, what a time. I'm glad we did this, man.
This is awesome. Thanks for coming from New York. Thanks for coming. Thank you guys for listening. This has been such a fun year for us. Great to meet a lot of you today on the plains. We've seriously had so much fun. So thank y'all for enjoying our reactions. We still have plenty of games left, hopefully. So we'll be around.
War Eagle, Matt.
War Eagle.